At 2:17 a.m., billionaire crime lord Roman Varelli walked into his own building disguised as a janitor and found a woman trying not to cry inside a supply closet. She had bruises on her wrist, blood on her lip, and terror buried so deep in her eyes it looked permanent. Her name was Naomi Vale, and she begged him not to call HR because HR already knew. That single sentence shattered everything Roman thought he controlled. Tonight, the most dangerous man in Chicago is about to discover that the real predator was hiding in plain sight all along, protected by the very system Roman built. Follow this story to the end, hit like, and comment what city you're watching from so I can see how far this story travels. The rain hit Chicago like bullets that night. Roman Varelli stood outside Blackthorn Corporate Plaza at 2:17 a.m., wearing a maintenance uniform that did not fit his shoulders and carrying tools he barely knew how to use. The disguise was deliberate. Roman owned the 47-story glass tower in front of him, but tonight he needed to walk through it invisible. Someone had been stealing from him, not money. Roman had enough money to buy silence from half the politicians in Illinois. What someone was stealing was far more valuable: security footage. Entire nights of surveillance recordings had been vanishing from the building's archives for months, and Roman's head of operations could not explain why. So Roman decided to see for himself. He swiped a stolen maintenance badge across the employee entrance and stepped inside. The lobby swallowed him whole: polished marble floors, chrome fixtures, and enough glass to reflect 1,000 versions of himself staring back. During the day, Blackthorn Plaza buzzed with corporate energy. At night, it became a cathedral of emptiness. Roman moved through the ground floor quickly, keeping his head down. 2 security guards sat behind the main desk, barely awake, watching monitors that showed nothing but vacant hallways. He passed them without a word and took the service elevator to the 32nd floor, where the security server room sat tucked behind a reinforced steel door. The elevator climbed slowly. Roman's reflection stared back at him from the mirrored walls. A man in his late 30s with a face too sharp to be kind and eyes too cold to be trusted. His knuckles carried scars from fights that never made the newspapers. His suits cost more than most people earned in a year, but tonight he wore polyester and cheap work boots because sometimes power required invisibility. The elevator doors opened. Roman stepped into a hallway bathed in flickering fluorescent light. The air smelled like industrial cleaner and stale coffee. He walked toward the server room, counting doors as he passed, when he heard it. A sound. Quiet. Muffled. Almost nothing. Someone crying. Roman stopped. His hand instinctively moved toward the knife hidden beneath his uniform. Years of survival had trained him to treat unexpected sounds as threats, but this was not a threat. This was something worse. It was fear. The sound came from a supply closet 10 feet ahead on his left. The door was slightly open, and through the crack, Roman could see light leaking out, harsh, fluorescent, unforgiving. He approached carefully. Then he pushed the door open. Inside, crouched on the floor beside a mop bucket and a stack of cleaning chemicals, was a woman trying very hard not to make any noise while she fell apart. She looked up at Roman with eyes that had seen too much and survived too little. Her face was young, mid-20s maybe, but her expression carried exhaustion that belonged to someone decades older. Dark hair fell across her cheeks in uneven strands. Her uniform was identical to the one Roman wore, except hers actually fit. And then Roman saw the bruises, fresh ones. Dark purple marks wrapped around her left wrist like fingers had gripped too hard. Her bottom lip was swollen, split slightly on one side where something, or someone, had hit her. Blood had dried in a thin line down her chin. The woman stared at Roman for 3 long seconds, and in those seconds, Roman watched her decide whether to run or stay. She stayed. "Please don't tell anyone I'm here," she said quietly. Roman did not move. "What happened to you?" "Nothing." "That's not nothing." The woman wiped her face quickly, smearing tears across her cheek. "I'm fine. I needed a minute." Roman stepped fully into the closet and closed the door behind him. The space was barely large enough for 2 people. The fluorescent light overhead buzzed like a dying insect. "Who did this?" Roman asked. "It doesn't matter." "It matters." The woman shook her head. Her hands were trembling. "You don't understand. If I say anything, it gets worse." "Worse than this?" She laughed, but the sound came out broken. You have no idea. Roman crouched down so he was eye level with her. Up close, he could see more damage, faint bruises along her collarbone, a scrape on her forearm, exhaustion carved into every line of her face. "What's your name?" Roman asked. The woman hesitated. Then quietly, "Naomi." "Naomi," Roman repeated. "I'm Roman, and I need you to tell me who did this to you." Naomi looked at him like he had just asked her to jump off the roof. "Why? So you can report it? So you can make it official? You think that helps?" "It's a start." "No," Naomi said sharply. "It's how you get erased." Roman frowned. "What does that mean?" Naomi pulled her knees closer to her chest. Her voice dropped lower, like saying the words too loud might summon something terrible. "It means I already tried. 3 months ago, I reported what happened to another girl. Her name was Alyssa. She was 19. She worked nights like me, cleaning executive offices on the 40th floor. What happened to her? Carter Sloan happened to her." The name hit Roman like cold water. Carter Sloan. Facility director. Mid-40s. Expensive haircut. Roman had met him twice during board meetings, and both times Carter had smiled too much and talked too loud. "What did he do?" Roman asked. Naomi's jaw tightened. He cornered her in an empty conference room after midnight. He locked the door. He told her if she screamed, he'd make sure she never worked in Chicago again. Roman's hands curled into fists without him realizing it. "And you reported this?" "I walked in before he could finish," Naomi said. Alyssa was crying. Carter was standing over her with his shirt untucked and his belt undone. I told him to get away from her, and he just laughed. He said I was seeing things. He said Alyssa wanted it. Roman's voice came out colder than he intended. "What did HR do?" Naomi looked at him with something close to pity. "HR protected him." "That's not That's exactly what they did," Naomi interrupted. "I filed a formal complaint the next morning. I gave them dates, times, camera footage locations. I told them everything. 2 days later, Alyssa disappeared. Her badge stopped working, her file was deleted, and I got called into an office where a woman named Vivian Mercer explained very carefully that if I ever mentioned Carter Sloan's name again, I would lose my job, my references, and any chance of ever working anywhere decent again. Roman felt something dark and familiar rising in his chest. "Where's Alyssa now?" "I don't know," Naomi whispered. "She won't answer my calls. I think they paid her to disappear." "And you stayed." "I have a brother," Naomi said. "Micah. He's 17. Our parents died 4 years ago, and I'm all he has. I can't lose this job. I can't afford to disappear." Roman stared at her. "So you just keep working here while Carter does whatever he wants," Naomi finished. "Yes, that's exactly what I do, because that's what women like me have to do if we want to survive." The fluorescent light buzzed louder. Roman's mind was already working through possibilities, cataloging names, calculating leverage. "You said you filed a complaint. That means there's a record." "Not anymore," Naomi said. "I checked. It's gone. Erased. Like I never said anything." "Security footage?" "Missing." "Witnesses?" Naomi laughed bitterly. "You mean the other cleaners who watched Vivian destroy me and decided they'd rather keep their jobs than help?" "Yeah. They saw everything. They said nothing." Roman stood slowly. His head nearly brushed the ceiling. "Naomi, I need you to listen to me very carefully. I can help you." "No, you can't." "Yes, I can." Naomi shook her head. "You don't even know who I am. You're just some maintenance guy who walked into the wrong closet at the wrong time. You can't help me. Nobody can." Roman almost told her the truth right then. He almost explained that he was not a maintenance worker, that he owned the building, that he could destroy Carter Sloan with a single phone call. But something stopped him. Maybe it was the way Naomi looked at him, like he was just another man making promises he could not keep. Or maybe it was the realization that if he revealed who he was, she would stop trusting him completely. So instead, Roman said, "What if I told you I could get the footage back?" Naomi blinked. "What?" "The security footage," Roman said. "The recordings that went missing. What if I could recover them?" "That's impossible." "It's not." Naomi stared at him. "Who are you?" Roman did not answer. Instead, he pulled a small business card from his pocket. Plain white, no company name, just a phone number printed in black ink. He handed it to Naomi. "If you need help," Roman said, "call that number. Anytime, day or night." Naomi looked at the card like it might explode. "Why are you doing this?" Roman did not have a good answer for that. He had spent 15 years building an empire on violence, intimidation, and control. He had destroyed men for less than what Carter Sloane had done to Naomi. But standing in that supply closet under flickering light, watching a woman try not to cry, Roman felt something he had not felt in years. Shame. Because this building belonged to him, and he had not noticed what was happening inside it. "Just take the card," Roman said quietly. Naomi hesitated, then she slipped the card into her pocket. Roman turned toward the door, then stopped. "Naomi, one more thing. Where does Carter work?" "Executive floor," Naomi said. 43rd. His office is at the end of the west hallway." Roman nodded. "Stay here for a few more minutes, then go home. Don't work tonight." "I can't just leave." "Yes, you can," Roman said. "Trust me." He opened the door and stepped back into the hallway. The fluorescent lights buzzed above him. The building felt colder now, darker, like something rotten had been hiding beneath the surface all along. Roman walked toward the elevator with new purpose. He had come here to find a thief. Instead, he had found something worse. By 3:30 a.m., Roman was inside the security server room on the 32nd floor, sitting in front of a wall of monitors and hard drives that stored every second of footage captured inside Blackthorn Plaza. The room was locked, but locks meant nothing to Roman. He had learned how to bypass corporate security systems years ago when he was still building his empire one stolen shipment at a time. Now he owned half the city, but the skills remained useful. Roman pulled up the archive logs and started searching. 3 months ago, 40th floor, executive conference rooms. The footage should have been there. Every camera in the building recorded constantly, backed up automatically to redundant servers. Deleting files required administrator access and deliberate effort. Roman found the timestamp Naomi had mentioned. The file was gone. Not corrupted, not damaged, just gone. Erased cleanly, professionally, like someone who knew exactly what they were doing had reached into the system and deleted evidence of a crime. Roman leaned back in the chair, his jaw tightened. Someone inside Blackthorn Plaza had built a system to protect predators. They had weaponized HR, manipulated security footage, and silenced victims so efficiently that women like Naomi learned to stop reporting assaults because reporting made things worse. And Roman had not noticed. He had been so focused on protecting his empire from external threats, rival criminals, federal investigations, political enemies, that he had ignored what was happening inside his own building. Roman started digging deeper. He pulled footage from the past 6 months, searching for patterns. What he found made his blood run cold. Carter Sloane appeared in dozens of recordings, always late at night, always on floors where cleaning crews worked alone. The cameras captured him walking through empty hallways, pausing outside supply closets, following female employees into deserted stairwells. And every time Carter appeared, the footage cut out minutes later. Someone was editing the archives in real time. Roman expanded the search. He pulled HR records, cross-referenced employee complaints, tracked badge access logs. The deeper he dug, the uglier the picture became. 7 women had filed formal complaints against Carter Sloane in the past 2 years. All 7 complaints had been closed within 48 hours. 5 of those women no longer worked at Blackthorn Plaza. Roman opened the personnel files. Every terminated employee had the same note attached: resigned voluntarily. No further contact authorized. They had not resigned. They had been erased. Roman's phone buzzed in his pocket. He pulled it out and saw a text from Vincent Torres, his head of operations. "Where are you?" Roman typed back quickly. "Blackthorn." "Found something." 3 dots appeared immediately. "Need backup?" "Not yet. I'll call you in an hour." Roman put the phone away and turned back to the monitors. He started copying files, every recording, every personnel document, every HR complaint. He uploaded everything to an encrypted cloud server that only he could access. Then he found something that stopped him cold. An internal email chain between Vivian Mercer, the HR director, and Jonathan Hale, Blackthorn's chief operating officer. The subject line read, Carter Sloan, ongoing situation. Roman opened the email. From Vivian Mercer. To Jonathan Hale. Date, 3 months ago. Subject, Carter Sloan. Ongoing situation. Jonathan, we have another complaint. Naomi Vale, overnight cleaning staff. She claims Carter assaulted a coworker named Alyssa Reed in a conference room on the 40th floor. I reviewed the footage. It's inconclusive, but Carter was present. I've already spoken with Alyssa, and she's agreed to accept a settlement in exchange for her silence. I'll process her termination as a voluntary resignation by end of week. As for Naomi, I recommend we keep her nervous but employed. If we terminate her immediately, she becomes sympathetic. If we isolate her, she stays quiet. I've already reassigned her to solo shifts on floors with minimal camera coverage. Carter has agreed to avoid direct contact for now. This is manageable. V. Mike. From Jonathan Hale to Vivian Mercer. Date, 3 months ago. Subject R.E. Carter Sloan. Ongoing situation. Vivian, approved. Keep Naomi isolated. Make sure she understands that escalation will cost her everything. Carter is valuable to this company. We protect our assets. J. Betts. Roman read the emails twice. Then he stood up and walked out of the server room. By 4:15 a.m., Roman was standing outside Carter Sloan's office on the 43rd floor. The hallway was empty. The lights were dimmed. The entire executive floor felt abandoned, like a stage waiting for actors who would never arrive. Roman tried the door, locked. He pulled a small lockpick set from his pocket and worked the mechanism until the bolt clicked open. The door swung inward silently. Carter's office was exactly what Roman expected. Oversized desk, expensive leather chair, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Chicago's skyline. Framed photos lined the walls. Carter shaking hands with politicians. Carter at charity galas. Carter smiling beside his wife and 2 children. Roman walked to the desk and started searching. Drawers full of contracts, files full of budgets. Nothing useful. Then Roman found a locked cabinet beneath the window. He picked the lock quickly. Inside, he found a single manila folder labeled Personal. Roman opened it. Inside were photographs. Not family photos, not vacation snapshots, photos of women, dozens of them, all taken from security cameras inside Blackthorn Plaza. Women working alone late at night, women bending over cleaning supplies, women walking through empty hallways. And at the bottom of the stack, Roman found a photo of Naomi. She was crouched beside a mop bucket in a supply closet, crying, unaware she was being watched. The photo was dated 2 weeks ago. Roman closed the folder carefully. He had seen enough violence in his life to recognize predatory behavior when it stared him in the face. Carter Sloan was not just a man who abused power. He was a man who enjoyed it. Roman pulled out his phone and took pictures of everything inside the folder. Then he put everything back exactly where he found it, locked the cabinet, and left the office. By 5 a.m., Roman was back outside Blackthorn Plaza, standing in the rain, staring up at the glass tower. For 15 years, he had controlled the city through fear, money, and violence. He had destroyed rivals, silenced enemies, and built an empire that most people did not even know existed. But tonight, standing in the rain with evidence of unspeakable cruelty on his phone, Roman realized something terrifying. He had no idea how to fix this. Violence was easy. Roman could make Carter Sloan disappear before sunrise. One phone call, one unmarked car, one shallow grave outside the city limits. Problem solved. But that would not help Naomi. It would not bring back Alyssa Reed or the 5 other women who had been erased from Blackthorn Plaza's records. It would not dismantle the system Vivian Mercer and Jonathan Hale had built to protect predators while destroying victims. For the first time in years, Roman needed something more than violence. He needed proof. He needed witnesses. He needed justice. And he had absolutely no idea how to deliver it. Roman pulled out his phone and dialed a number he had not called in months. The line rang 3 times before a woman's voice answered, sharp and awake despite the hour. This better be important, Roman. It is, Roman said. I need a lawyer. There was a pause. What kind of lawyer? The kind who destroys powerful men. Another pause. Then, I'm listening. Her name is Naomi Vale, Roman said, and I'm going to burn down everyone who hurt her. The woman on the other end of the line laughed quietly. You know I don't work for free. I know. And this is going to get ugly. I know that too. Good, the woman said. I'll be there in 2 hours. Don't do anything stupid before I arrive. Roman hung up. He stood in the rain for another 5 minutes, staring at the building, memorizing every window, every reflection, every shadow. Then he turned and walked away. Behind him, on the 43rd floor of Blackthorn Plaza, a light turned on inside Carter Sloane's office. And somewhere in the building, Naomi Vale was still trying to figure out if the man in the maintenance uniform had been real or just another broken promise disguised as hope. Selena Ward arrived at Roman's penthouse at 7:43 a.m., carrying a leather briefcase and the kind of reputation that made corporate executives check their retirement funds. She was 42 years old, black hair cut sharp at her shoulders, wearing a charcoal suit that cost more than most people's monthly rent. Her eyes were the color of coffee gone cold, and when she looked at Roman standing in his doorway, she did not smile. You look like hell, Selena said. Roman stepped aside to let her in. I haven't slept. Good. That means you're taking this seriously. Selena walked into the penthouse like she owned it. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Lake Michigan, furniture that cost 6 figures, art on the walls that Roman had bought because someone told him it was valuable, not because he cared. Selena dropped her briefcase on the dining table and turned to face Roman. Tell me everything. Start with the girl. Roman told her. He explained finding Naomi in the supply closet, the bruises, the terror in her eyes, the complaint she filed 3 months ago that disappeared like it never existed. He told Selena about Carter Sloane, about Vivian Mercer's emails, about the 7 women who filed complaints, and the 5 who vanished from company records. Selena listened without interrupting. When Roman finished, she opened her briefcase and pulled out a yellow legal pad. How much evidence do you have? Selena asked. Everything, Roman said. Security footage, HR emails, personnel files, photos Carter kept in his office. How did you get into his office? Does it matter? Selena looked at him. Roman, I can't use evidence obtained illegally. You won't have to, Roman said. I'll get it legally. I own the building. I can authorize access to anything. Except you weren't supposed to be there last night, Selena said. You were disguised as a maintenance worker breaking into secure areas. That makes everything you found inadmissible. Roman's jaw tightened. So what do we do? Selena tapped her pen against the legal pad. We rebuild the case from the ground up, legally. That means getting Naomi to talk on record. It means finding the other women who disappeared. It means getting someone inside HR to flip. How long will that take? Months. I don't have months. Then you don't have a case, Selena said flatly. Roman, I know you're used to solving problems with money and muscle, but this is different. You can't just make Carter Sloane disappear and call it justice. Roman turned toward the window. The city stretched out below him, concrete and glass, and millions of people who had no idea what happened in buildings like Blackthorn Plaza after dark. What if Naomi won't talk? Roman asked. Then we lose. Roman's reflection stared back at him from the glass. She's terrified, Selena. She thinks if she says anything, they'll destroy her. They will, Selena said. That's how these cases work. Naomi goes public, and Blackthorn's lawyers will tear apart every detail of her life. They'll find old boyfriends, failed classes, unpaid parking tickets. They'll make her look unstable, unreliable, opportunistic. They'll argue she wanted attention, wanted money, wanted revenge for being a bad employee. That's reality, Selena interrupted. And Naomi needs to understand that before she agrees to anything, because once we start this fight, there's no walking away. Roman turned back to face her. What do you need from me? Access to everything, Selena said. Personnel records, security archives, financial statements. I need to see how deep this goes. If Vivian Mercer and Jonathan Hale covered up multiple assaults, there's a pattern. Patterns are prosecutable. You'll have it by tonight. Selena nodded. And Roman? Don't contact Naomi again, not until I talk to her first. Why not? Because you're too close to this, Selena said. You found her crying in a closet and now you want to save her. That's not objectivity, that's emotion. And emotion gets people hurt. Roman did not argue. Selena was right. He had spent 15 years building an empire on cold calculation, and now he was making decisions based on a woman he met once in a supply closet. It felt like weakness. It felt like something worse than weakness. It felt human. I'll send you the files, Roman said quietly. Selena picked up her briefcase. One more thing. If this goes to trial, your name will come up. People will ask how you got involved. They'll dig into your background. Are you prepared for that? Roman met her eyes. Are you asking if I'm worried about my reputation? I'm asking if you're ready to become visible, Selena said. Because right now, you're a ghost. You move money, you move people, but nobody knows your face. This case will change that. Then it changes. Selena studied him for a long moment. Then she walked toward the door. I'll contact Naomi this afternoon. Don't do anything stupid before then. She left. Roman stood alone in his penthouse, staring at the city below, wondering how many other women were crying in supply closets while men like Carter Sloan walked free. Naomi Vale did not sleep that night. She sat in her apartment, a one-bedroom unit in a building that smelled like mildew and broken promises, staring at the business card Roman had given her. Just a phone number. No name. No explanation. Her younger brother Micah was asleep in the bedroom. Naomi had given him the only bed years ago and taken the couch for herself. It was not comfortable, but comfort was a luxury she could not afford. Naomi turned the card over in her hands. Her wrists still ached where Carter had grabbed her 2 nights ago. The bruise had darkened into something ugly and permanent looking, so she wore long sleeves even though the apartment was too warm. She thought about calling the number. She thought about throwing the card away. She thought about walking into Lake Michigan and never coming back. Instead, she stood up and made coffee. The sun was rising by the time Micah stumbled out of the bedroom, wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt that was 2 sizes too big. He was 17 but looked younger, skinny arms, messy hair, the kind of face that still believed the world might be good if you gave it a chance. You're up early, Micah said. Naomi poured him a cup of coffee. Couldn't sleep. Micah sat down at the small kitchen table and studied her face. You look tired. I'm always tired. You look worse than usual. Naomi forced a smile. Thanks. Micah did not smile back. What happened to your wrist? Naomi pulled her sleeve down quickly. Nothing. I bumped it at work. That's not a bump. Micah, I'm fine. You're lying. Naomi set her coffee down too hard. The cup rattled against the table. I said, I'm fine. Micah stared at her. He had their mother's eyes, soft, worried, too perceptive for his own good. Naomi, if something's wrong, Nothing's wrong, Naomi said sharply. I'm just tired, that's all. Micah did not look convinced, but he did not push. He drank his coffee in silence, while Naomi stared out the window at the city waking up below them. I have a calc test today, Micah said after a while. You study? Yeah. You need anything? No. Naomi nodded. She wanted to tell him the truth. She wanted to explain that she was drowning, that every night at work felt like walking into a building full of ghosts, that she woke up every morning wondering if today would be the day Carter finally cornered her somewhere with no witnesses. But she did not say any of that, because Micah was 17 and he deserved to believe the world was safer than it actually was. I'm proud of you, Naomi said quietly. Micah looked up. For what? For still being here, for not giving up. Micah frowned. Why would I give up? Naomi did not answer. She finished her coffee, kissed Micah on the forehead, and told him she loved him. Then she locked herself in the bathroom and cried until her ribs hurt. Selena Ward found Naomi's apartment at 2:17 p.m. She knocked 3 times. No answer. She knocked again. Naomi Vale? My name is Selena Ward. I'm an attorney. Roman Virelli sent me. The door opened slowly. Naomi stood in the doorway wearing the same long sleeves and the same exhausted expression Roman had described. I don't know anyone named Roman Virelli, Naomi said. Yes, you do, Selena said. He's the maintenance worker who found you in the supply closet 2 nights ago. Except he's not a maintenance worker. Naomi's face went pale. Who is he? Someone who wants to help you, Selena said. Can I come in? Naomi hesitated, then she stepped aside. Selena walked into the small apartment and immediately understood why Naomi had not called the number on the card. This was not the home of someone who believed help existed. This was the home of someone who had learned to survive on scraps. Sit down, Selena said. It was not a request. Naomi sat on the couch. Selena sat across from her in a folding chair that wobbled slightly. I'm going to be direct with you, Selena said. Roman told me what happened. He told me about Carter Sloan. He told me about the complaint you filed 3 months ago, and he told me about the bruises. Naomi's hands curled into fists. I don't want to talk about this. I understand. No, you don't. Selena leaned forward. Naomi, I've been a lawyer for 18 years. I've represented women in cases like yours more times than I can count. I know exactly what you're afraid of. You're afraid that if you speak up, nobody will believe you. You're afraid they'll destroy your life. You're afraid you'll lose your job, your apartment, your ability to take care of your brother. Naomi's eyes widened. How do you know about Micah? Because I do my research, Selena said, and because I need you to understand something. I don't make promises I can't keep. If you decide to move forward with this, your life will get harder before it gets better. Blackthorn's lawyers will attack you. The media might get involved. People you thought were friends will turn on you. Then why would I do it? Naomi asked. Because it's the only way to stop Carter Sloan from doing this to someone else. Naomi laughed bitterly. You think I'm the hero in this story? I'm not. I'm just a girl who cleans toilets and can't afford to disappear. Then don't disappear, Selena said. Fight. Naomi shook her head. You don't understand. I already tried fighting. I filed a complaint. I told HR everything, and they erased me. They erased Alyssa. They made it clear that speaking up costs more than staying silent. That was before you had me, Selena said. You're just a lawyer. I'm not just anything, Selena said coldly. I've taken down executives, politicians, and men who thought they were untouchable. And I don't lose. Naomi stared at her. Why do you care? You don't even know me. I don't need to know you, Selena said. I just need to know that what happened to you was wrong. And I need you to decide if you're willing to do something about it. Naomi looked down at her hands. The bruise on her wrist had started to fade, but the memory had not. What would I have to do? Talk, Selena said. On record. Tell me everything that happened. Every detail, every conversation, every time Carter Sloan made you feel unsafe. Then we find the other women. We build a case strong enough that Blackthorn can't bury it. And if I say no? Selena stood up. Then I walk out, and nothing changes. Carter keeps working, Vivian keeps covering for him, and the next girl who files a complaint gets erased, just like Alyssa did. Naomi closed her eyes. I need time to think. You have 24 hours, Selena said. After that, the window closes. Why 24 hours? Because Roman is barely holding himself back from killing Carter Sloan, Selena said bluntly. And if we don't move fast, this stops being a legal case and starts being a crime scene. Naomi looked up sharply. He wouldn't? Yes, he would, Selena interrupted. Roman Virelli is not a good man, Naomi. He's a dangerous man who happens to be on your side right now. But if you don't give him a legal path forward, he'll take an illegal one. And that won't help anyone. Selena handed Naomi a business card, her real card, with her name and office number printed in clean black letters. Call me by tomorrow, Selena said. Or don't. Your choice. She left. Naomi sat alone in her apartment, holding 2 business cards now, one from a man she did not trust and one from a woman who terrified her. Outside, the city kept moving. And on the 43rd floor of Blackthorn Plaza, Carter Sloan sat in his office, smiling, completely unaware that his world was about to collapse. Roman spent the next 18 hours doing something he had not done in years, waiting. He sat in his penthouse, staring at his phone, resisting the urge to drive to Naomi's apartment and demand that she let him help her. Selena had been clear, do not contact Naomi. Do not pressure her. Do not turn this into another man making decisions for a woman who had already lost control of her own life. So Roman waited. He sent Selena the files, security footage, HR emails, personnel records, everything he had pulled from Blackthorn Plaza's servers. Selena confirmed receipt at 11:47 p.m. and sent back a single message. This is worse than I thought. Roman did not sleep. At 3 a.m., his phone buzzed. A text from Vincent Torres, his head of operations. We have a problem. Roman called him immediately. What kind of problem? Carter Sloan knows someone's digging into him, Vincent said. He made 3 calls tonight, one to Vivian Mercer, one to Jonathan Hale, and one to a private investigator named Marcus Lowe. Roman stood up. How do you know this? I've been monitoring his phone since you told me about the girl, Vincent said. Carter's spooked. He thinks someone's building a case against him. Does he know it's me? Not yet, but he will if we're not careful. Roman walked to the window. The city glowed below him like a circuit board. What did the PI say? Lowe specializes in digging up dirt on accusers, Vincent said. He's the guy companies hire when they need to discredit women before lawsuits go public. Roman's grip tightened on the phone. Where does Lowe live? Roman, don't. Where does he live? Vincent sighed. Lincoln Park. But if you go after him, you'll tip Carter off. Then I won't go after him, Roman said. I'll just make sure he understands what happens to people who target women like Naomi. That's the same thing. Roman hung up. He stood at the window for another 5 minutes, thinking. Then he made a decision he knew Selena would hate. He got dressed, grabbed his coat, and left the penthouse. Marcus Lowe's apartment was on the 3rd floor of a brownstone in Lincoln Park. Nice neighborhood, expensive cars, the kind of place where nobody expected violence. Roman stood outside the building at 4:17 a.m., watching the windows. One light was on, 3rd floor, corner unit. Roman entered the building through the service entrance. No security cameras, no doorman, just a lock that took him 40 seconds to bypass. He climbed the stairs silently. When he reached the 3rd floor, Roman knocked on Lowe's door. 3 sharp raps. No answer. Roman knocked again. Marcus Lowe, open the door. Footsteps inside. Then a voice. Who is this? Someone who needs to talk to you about Carter Sloan. The door opened a crack. A man in his 50s peered out, graying hair, wire-rimmed glasses, the look of someone who spent his life digging through other people's garbage. I don't know who you are, Lowe said, but this conversation is over. He tried to close the door. Roman's hand shot out and caught it. He pushed the door open and stepped inside. Lowe stumbled back. Get out or I'm calling the police. Go ahead, Roman said. Call them. Explain why Carter Sloan hired you to dig up dirt on a woman he assaulted. Lowe's face went pale. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. Roman closed the door behind him. The apartment was small. 1 bedroom, cluttered desk covered in files, laptop still open and glowing. You're Marcus Lowe, Roman said, private investigator. You specialize in destroying women's credibility before lawsuits go public. Carter Sloan hired you tonight to investigate Naomi Vale. And you're going to tell me exactly what he asked you to find. Lowe backed toward the desk. I'm not telling you anything. Roman took a step forward. Yes, you are. I'll scream. Nobody will hear you. Lowe's hand moved toward his phone on the desk. Roman was faster. He grabbed the phone and threw it across the room. It shattered against the wall. Sit down, Roman said quietly. Lowe sat. Roman pulled up a chair and sat across from him. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to tell me everything Carter asked you to do. Then you're going to delete every file you have on Naomi Vale. Then you're going to call Carter and tell him you can't take the case. And if I don't, Roman leaned forward, then I'll make sure every law firm in Chicago knows you manufacture evidence to destroy assault victims. I'll send proof to the state bar. I'll ruin your career so thoroughly that you'll be investigating insurance fraud in Iowa by the end of the month. Lowe's hands were shaking. You can't do that. Yes, I can. Who are you? Roman did not answer. Lowe stared at him for a long moment. Then, quietly, Carter wants dirt. Anything that makes Naomi look unstable. Failed relationships, financial problems, social media posts. He said there's another girl, Alyssa Reed, who might talk. He wants me to find her and make sure she stays quiet. Roman's jaw tightened. How much did he pay you? $10,000 up front, 20 more if I deliver results within a week. Give it back. What? The $10,000, Roman said. Give it back to Carter. Tell him you can't help him. Tell him the case is too risky. Tell him whatever you want. But if I find out you went anywhere near Naomi or Alyssa, I will end you. Lo nodded quickly. Okay, I'll do it. Roman stood up. He walked to the desk and opened Lo's laptop. Show me the files. Lo hesitated. Roman gave him a look that made hesitation impossible. Lo opened a folder labeled Sloan Vale Investigation. Inside were preliminary notes, background checks, social media screenshots. Roman deleted everything. Then he pulled a flash drive from his pocket and plugged it into the laptop. He uploaded a single file, a recording of Lo admitting that Carter Sloan hired him to discredit an assault victim. Insurance, Roman said. If you talk to Carter again, this recording goes public. Lo looked like he might vomit. Roman walked to the door. Then he stopped and turned back. One more thing. If Naomi Vale gets hurt, if she loses her job, if she has an accident, if anything happens to her, I will assume you're responsible, and I will find you. He left. By the time Roman got back to his penthouse, the sun was rising. His phone buzzed, a text from Selena. Did you do something stupid? Roman typed back. Define stupid. 3 dots appeared, then, you're going to get us all killed. Roman did not reply. He poured himself a drink and stood at the window, watching the city wake up. Somewhere out there, Naomi was deciding whether to fight or disappear. And somewhere else, Carter Sloan was realizing that someone was coming for him. Roman finished his drink. Then his phone rang. Unknown number. Roman answered. Yes? A woman's voice, shaking but determined. This is Naomi Vale, she said. I want to fight. Roman closed his eyes. Are you sure? No, Naomi said, but I'm doing it anyway. Selena will call you in an hour, Roman said. She'll walk you through everything. Okay. There was a long pause. Then Naomi said, Roman? Yeah? Thank you. Roman did not know how to respond to that, so he just said, Don't thank me yet. He hung up, and for the first time in 15 years, Roman Virelli felt something close to hope. Selena called Naomi at 8 a.m. sharp. They talked for 3 hours. Naomi told her everything. The first time Carter cornered her in a stairwell. The night he followed her to her car. The complaint she filed that disappeared. The way Vivian Mercer smiled while threatening to destroy her life. Selena took notes. Precise. Clinical. Recording every detail like she was building a weapon. We need to find Alyssa Reed, Selena said. I told you, she won't answer my calls. She'll answer mine, Selena said. Do you have her last known address? Naomi gave it to her. Selena made another note. What about other women? Anyone else who worked with Carter? Naomi thought for a moment. There's a security guard, Damian Cross. He works night shifts. He's seen things. Will he talk? I don't know, but he's always been kind to me. He warned me once to stay away from the executive floors after midnight. Selena wrote down the name. Anyone else? Loretta Hayes, Naomi said. She's been cleaning at Blackthorn for 12 years. She's seen everything, but she won't talk. She has 3 kids and can't afford to lose her job. Leave Loretta to me, Selena said. They talked for another hour. By the time Selena hung up, she had 20 pages of notes and a clear picture of what she was up against. Then she called Roman. We have a case, Selena said. How strong? Strong enough to scare them. Not strong enough to win yet. We need more witnesses. I'll find them. Roman, you can't just threaten people into testifying. I'm not going to threaten anyone, Roman said. I'm going to give them a reason to stop being afraid. Selena was quiet for a moment. This is going to get ugly. It's already ugly. No, Selena said. Right now it's contained. Once we file formal complaints, Blackthorn will go to war. They'll hire the best lawyers money can buy. They'll leak Naomi's personal information to the press. They'll make her life hell. Then we make sure she survives it. Selena hung up. She sat in her office for a long time, staring at her notes. Then she made a decision. She was going to war. 2 days later, Selena found Alyssa Reed. She was living in a studio apartment on the south side, working part-time at a coffee shop and taking online classes. When Selena knocked on her door, Alyssa opened it with the same exhausted expression Naomi wore. I don't want to talk about Blackthorn Plaza, Alyssa said immediately. I understand. I signed an NDA. I know. Then why are you here? Selena handed her a business card. Because Naomi Vale is fighting back, and she needs you. Alyssa's face crumpled. I can't. They'll sue me. They'll take everything. They'll try, Selena said. But NDAs don't protect companies from criminal investigations. And what Carter Sloan did to you was a crime. Alyssa shook her head. You don't understand. They paid me $50,000 to go away. I used that money for school. If I break the NDA, I have to give it back. I don't have it anymore. You won't have to give it back, Selena said. Not if we prove the NDA was signed under duress. Alyssa stared at her. Can you do that? Yes. And if you can't? Then I'll pay the $50,000 myself, Selena said. Alyssa blinked. Why would you do that? Because someone has to, Selena said. Will you help us? Alyssa looked down at the business card in her hands, then quietly, what do you need me to do? Tell the truth. Alyssa started crying. Selena sat with her while she cried. She did not offer comfort. She did not make promises. She just waited. Finally, Alyssa wiped her face and said, Okay, I'll do it. Selena nodded. We'll need your testimony on record, and we'll need you to identify Carter Sloan in court if it comes to that. When will it go to court? I don't know yet, Selena said. But when it does, you'll be ready. Alyssa took a shaky breath. What if I'm not? Then I'll make sure you are, Selena said. She left Alyssa's apartment with one more witness, one step closer to burning Blackthorn Plaza to the ground. Meanwhile, Roman was hunting. He started with Damian Cross, the security guard Naomi had mentioned. Roman found him 3 nights later at the end of his shift, walking toward the employee parking garage. Damian Cross, Roman said. Damian turned. He was in his late 30s, broad-shouldered, with the kind of face that had seen too much and decided to stop being surprised. Who's asking? Someone who needs your help. Damian's eyes narrowed. I don't know you. You know Naomi Vale. Damian went still. What about her? She's fighting back against Carter Sloan, Roman said, and she needs someone inside Blackthorn who's willing to tell the truth. Damian looked around the empty garage. You a cop? No. Lawyer? No. Then what are you? Someone who's tired of watching men like Carter Sloan get away with destroying women, Roman said. Damian studied him. I've got a wife, 2 kids. I can't lose this job. You won't. You can't promise that. Yes, I can, Roman said, because I own the building. Damian's eyes widened. You're Roman Varelli. Yes. Damian took a step back. I've heard stories about you. I'm sure you have. They say you're dangerous. They're right, Roman said, but not to you, not if you help Naomi. Damian was quiet for a long moment. Then, what do you need? Security footage, Roman said. The files that were deleted from the archives. I know you have access to backup servers. That's illegal. So is covering up sexual assault. Damian's jaw tightened. If I do this, I'm done at Blackthorn. If you don't do this, more women get hurt. Damian looked at the ground. Then he pulled out his phone. I'll send you the files tonight, but after that I'm out. I can't testify. I can't go public. I have a family. The files are enough, Roman said. Damian nodded and walked away. Roman stood alone in the parking garage, feeling the weight of what he was building. One witness at a time. One piece of evidence at a time. One step closer to tearing Carter Sloan apart. But Roman was not the only one preparing for war. Inside Blackthorn Plaza, Vivian Mercer sat in her office reviewing damage control strategies. She had received word that someone was digging into Carter Sloan's past. Marcus Lowe had called yesterday to drop the case without explanation, which meant someone had gotten to him. Vivian picked up her phone and called Jonathan Hale. We have a problem, she said. I'm listening. Naomi Vale is talking to a lawyer. A good one. Selena Ward. Jonathan was quiet. How do you know? Because Selena filed a formal request for personnel records this morning, Vivian said. She's building a case. Then shut it down. It's not that simple anymore, Vivian said. Naomi has allies now, and if this goes public— It won't go public, Jonathan interrupted. Make Naomi an offer, something big enough that she can't refuse. She already refused our last offer. Then make a better one. Vivian hung up. She sat in her office for a long time, staring at Naomi's employee file on her computer screen. Then she made a phone call. This is Vivian Mercer, she said. I need you to find everything you can on Naomi Vale. Family, friends, finances, anything we can use. The voice on the other end asked, How far do you want me to go? Vivian did not hesitate. As far as it takes. 2 nights later, Naomi was leaving her apartment when she noticed a car parked across the street. Black sedan, tinted windows, engine running. She had seen the same car yesterday, and the day before that. Naomi's heart started racing. She pulled out her phone and called Roman. There's someone watching my apartment, she said. Are you sure? Yes. Get back inside, lock the door, I'm sending someone. Naomi ran back into her building. She locked the door, turned off the lights, and watched through the window as the black sedan sat motionless across the street. 20 minutes later, a different car pulled up. Gray SUV, no plates. 2 men got out. They walked toward the black sedan. The sedan's engine revved, then it sped off into the night. One of the men pulled out a phone. Naomi's phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered. Hello? Naomi, this is Vincent Torres. I work with Roman. The car's gone. You're safe. Naomi's hands were shaking. Who were they? Private investigators, Vincent said. Blackthorn hired them to follow you. They're trying to intimidate you into dropping the case. It's working. Don't let it, Vincent said. Roman's downstairs. He wants to talk to you. Naomi looked out the window. Roman stood on the sidewalk below, hands in his pockets, looking up at her building. She hung up and went downstairs. Roman was waiting by the entrance. Are you okay? No, Naomi said. I'm terrified. I know. They're following me, Roman. They're watching my apartment. They know where Micah goes to school. This was supposed to be about justice, but it feels like I'm just putting everyone I love in danger. Roman stepped closer. Naomi, listen to me. They're trying to scare you because they know you're winning. If you weren't a threat, they wouldn't bother. I don't feel like I'm winning, Naomi said. I feel like I'm drowning. Roman's voice softened. Then let me help you. How? Let me move you somewhere safe, you and Micah, just until this is over. Naomi shook her head. I can't run. If I run, they win. It's not running. It's surviving. Naomi looked up at him. Why are you doing this? You don't even know me. Roman did not have a good answer for that, so he told her the truth. Because I spent 15 years building an empire on violence and control. And I thought that made me powerful. But then I met you, and I realized the strongest person I've ever known is a woman who kept showing up to work every night even though she was terrified. You didn't have money, you didn't have power, but you survived, and that's worth more than anything I've ever built. Naomi's eyes filled with tears. I don't want to be strong anymore. I'm tired of surviving. Then let me carry some of the weight, Roman said quietly. Naomi wiped her face. If I keep fighting, Micah gets hurt. If I stop fighting, other women get hurt. There's no version of this where everyone survives. Then we make sure you survive, Roman said, and we make sure Carter Sloan doesn't. Naomi took a shaky breath. Okay. Okay? Okay, Naomi said. I'll keep fighting, but Roman, if something happens to Micah, nothing will happen to Micah, Roman said. I promise. Naomi nodded. Then she turned and walked back into her building. Roman stood on the sidewalk, watching her go. Then he pulled out his phone and called Vincent. We need protection, Roman said. 24 hours. Naomi and her brother. Make it invisible, but effective. Done. Roman hung up. He stood in the cold Chicago night, staring up at Naomi's apartment window. And for the first time in years, Roman felt afraid. Not for himself, for her. The next morning, Selena called an emergency meeting. Roman and Naomi sat in Selena's office while she laid out the evidence on the conference table. Security footage, HR emails, witness statements from Alyssa Reed and Damian Cross. This is enough to file criminal charges, Selena said, but if we go that route, it becomes a he said, she said case. We need something undeniable. Like what? Naomi asked. Selena pulled out a folder. Like this. Inside were financial records showing that Blackthorn Plaza had paid settlements to 11 women over the past 5 years. All of them had filed complaints against Carter Sloan. All of them had been erased from company records. Where did you get this? Roman asked. I have sources, Selena said. What matters is that this proves a pattern. Blackthorn didn't just cover up one assault. They covered up dozens, and they used company money to do it. Naomi stared at the records. 11 women. That we know of, Selena said. There could be more. Roman's hands curled into fists. We go public. Not yet, Selena said. We take this to the board first. We give them one chance to fire Carter, reform their policies, and compensate the victims. If they refuse, then we go to the media, the police, and every regulatory agency we can find. Naomi looked up. And if they retaliate? They will, Selena said. But we'll be ready. Roman stood up. When do we meet with the board? 3 days, Selena said. Friday afternoon. Executive boardroom. I've already sent formal notice. Naomi's face went pale. I have to face them? You don't have to, Selena said. But if you want them to see you as a person instead of a problem, you need to be in that room. Naomi looked at Roman. Will you be there? Yes. And if Carter's there? Roman's voice went cold. Then I'll make sure he doesn't say a word. Selena gave Roman a warning look. Roman, you are not allowed to threaten anyone in that meeting. I won't threaten anyone. You're a terrible liar. Roman did not argue. The meeting ended. Naomi left first, escorted by Vincent's security team. Roman stayed behind. She's going to break, Selena said quietly. No, she's not. Roman, she's 27 years old. She's about to walk into a room full of executives who want to destroy her. She's terrified. She's stronger than you think. I hope you're right, Selena said. Because if she falls apart in that boardroom, we lose everything. Roman walked to the window. The city stretched out below him, cold, indifferent, endless. She won't fall apart, Roman said. And if she does, I'll hold her together. Selena studied him. You're in love with her. Roman did not turn around. No. You are. I met her once. That doesn't matter, Selena said. You're in love with the idea of saving her, and that's dangerous. Roman finally turned to face her. I'm not trying to save her, Selena. I'm trying to give her a chance to save herself. Selena did not look convinced, but she did not argue. Roman left, and in 3 days, the war would begin. The night before the board meeting, Naomi could not sleep. She lay on her couch, staring at the ceiling, thinking about all the ways tomorrow could destroy her. She thought about Carter Sloan sitting across from her, smiling like he always did. She thought about Vivian Mercer twisting her words into weapons. She thought about walking into that boardroom and realizing she was still just a girl who cleaned toilets while powerful men decided her future. Her phone buzzed. A text from Roman. You're going to be fine. Naomi stared at the message for a long time. Then she typed back, What if I'm not? 3 dots appeared. Then I'll burn the building down. Naomi almost laughed. Almost. Instead, she set her phone down and closed her eyes. Tomorrow she would walk into Blackthorn Plaza one more time. But this time she would not be invisible. This time she would make them see her. And if they refused, then Roman Varelli would make sure they never forgot. Friday arrived like a storm. Naomi stood outside Blackthorn Plaza at 2 p.m., wearing a borrowed suit that Selena had bought for her and shoes that pinched her feet. Roman stood beside her. Selena stood on her other side. Ready? Selena asked. Naomi took a breath. No. Good, Selena said. Fear means you're still human. They walked inside together. The elevator ride to the 43rd floor felt like falling. When the doors opened, Vivian Mercer was waiting. She smiled. Naomi, so glad you could join us. Naomi said nothing. They walked down the hallway, past executive offices, past polished glass walls, past a world that had never been built for women like her. The boardroom doors opened, and inside, Sitting at the head of the table with a smile that could cut glass was Carter Sloane. He looked directly at Naomi. "Hello, Naomi," he said. "Long time no see." And every light in Naomi's world went dark. Naomi's legs stopped working. She stood in the doorway of the boardroom staring at Carter Sloane sitting at the head of the table like he owned not just the room, but the air inside it. His smile was the kind that belonged on magazine covers, confident, charming, completely empty. He wore a navy suit that probably cost more than Naomi made in 6 months, and his hands were folded calmly on the polished mahogany table like a man who had never been afraid of anything in his life. Roman's hand touched Naomi's lower back, not pushing, just reminding her she was not alone. "Breathe," he whispered. Naomi forced air into her lungs. Selena walked past them both and set her briefcase down on the table with a sound like a gunshot. "Let's begin." The boardroom was massive. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the Chicago skyline. 12 leather chairs surrounded the table. 9 of them were occupied. Vivian Mercer sat to Carter's right, perfectly composed in a charcoal dress suit. Her face showed nothing. No guilt, no concern, just the smooth professional mask of someone who had spent years weaponizing politeness. Jonathan Hale sat across from her, Chief Operating Officer. Late 50s, silver hair, expensive watch. He looked at Naomi the way someone might look at a stain on expensive furniture. The rest of the board members were strangers to Naomi, executives whose names she had never learned, because women like her were not supposed to know the names of men who controlled everything. Selena gestured to 3 empty chairs on the opposite side of the table. "Naomi, Roman, please sit." Naomi's feet finally moved. She walked to the chair directly across from Carter and sat down. Roman sat beside her. Selena remained standing. "Thank you all for making time on such short notice," Selena began. Her voice was cold and precise. "My name is Selena Ward. I represent Naomi Vale in a matter concerning systemic sexual harassment, assault, and corporate conspiracy to conceal criminal behavior within Blackthorn Plaza." Jonathan Hale leaned back in his chair. "That's quite an accusation, Ms. Ward." "It's not an accusation," Selena said. "It's a fact." She opened her briefcase and pulled out a thick folder. Then she began distributing documents around the table. Printouts of security footage stills, HR emails, settlement agreements, financial records. "Over the past 5 years," Selena continued, "Blackthorn Plaza has paid over $2 million in settlements to 11 different women who filed complaints against Carter Sloane. Each complaint detailed sexual harassment, assault, or coercion. Each complaint was buried by your HR department, and each woman was erased from company records after accepting hush money." Carter's smile did not falter. "That's quite a story." "It's quite a crime," Selena said. Vivian Mercer picked up one of the documents and scanned it briefly. "Ms. Ward, these settlements were standard employment dispute resolutions. Nothing illegal occurred. Paying women to stay silent about sexual assault is not a standard employment dispute," Selena said. "It's obstruction of justice." Jonathan Hale cleared his throat. "Ms. Ward, I think you're misunderstanding corporate liability protocols." "I'm not misunderstanding anything," Selena interrupted. "I'm telling you that Carter Sloane has spent 5 years terrorizing female employees while this company protected him. And Naomi Vale is prepared to testify to that fact in criminal court, civil court, and every media outlet in Chicago." Carter finally spoke. His voice was smooth, calm, reasonable. "Naomi, I'm sorry you feel that way. If I ever made you uncomfortable, that was never my intention." Naomi's hands curled into fists under the table. "Look at me," Carter said gently. "Naomi, look at me." Naomi forced herself to meet his eyes. Carter's expression was pure sympathy. "I know you've been under a lot of stress, working nights, taking care of your brother, trying to make ends meet. That kind of pressure can make people see things that aren't there, misinterpret friendly gestures, turn normal workplace interactions into something frightening." Naomi's throat tightened. "You grabbed my wrist so hard it bruised." "I don't recall that," Carter said. "But if I accidentally bumped into you during a busy shift, I apologize. You followed me into empty stairwells. I work here, Naomi. Sometimes our paths cross. You locked Alyssa Reed in a conference room, and—" "Alyssa Reed resigned voluntarily," Vivian interrupted. She signed a separation agreement confirming she had no complaints against anyone at Blackthorn Plaza. Selena leaned forward. Alyssa signed that agreement under duress after you threatened to destroy her future employment prospects. That's your interpretation, Vivian said. It's the truth. Jonathan Hale set down the documents Selena had distributed. Miss Ward, I've reviewed your materials. What I see here is a collection of coincidences, hearsay, and circumstantial evidence. Nothing actionable. Then you're not looking hard enough, Selena said. Or you're seeing what you want to see, Jonathan replied. Naomi, I'm very sorry you've had a difficult experience working here, but making false accusations against a valued executive is not the solution. They're not false, Naomi said quietly. Jonathan smiled at her. It was the kind of smile that did not reach his eyes. Naomi, do you have any idea how serious these allegations are? If you proceed with this, you'll be dragged through depositions, cross-examinations, and public scrutiny. Your personal life will be dissected, your credibility will be questioned, and at the end of it all, you'll have nothing to show for it except legal bills and a reputation as someone who cries assault when things don't go her way. Roman's voice cut through the room like a blade. Are you threatening her? Jonathan looked at Roman for the first time. And you are? Someone who's tired of listening to you talk, Roman said. Jonathan's eyes narrowed. I don't believe we've met. We have, Roman said, 3 years ago, investor meeting. You pitched a real estate acquisition strategy that would have bankrupted the company within 18 months. I voted against it. Recognition flickered across Jonathan's face. Roman Virelli. That's right. Jonathan sat up straighter. The rest of the board members shifted uncomfortably. Even Carter's smile wavered slightly. You own 12% of Blackthorn, Jonathan said slowly. Why are you here? Because you're protecting a predator, Roman said. And I'm tired of it. Vivian Mercer's professional mask cracked just slightly. Mr. Virelli, with all due respect, this is an internal personnel matter. It stopped being internal the moment you started paying settlements with company funds, Roman said. Which makes this my business. Carter finally lost his smile. Roman, I think you're overreacting. Shut up, Roman said. The room went silent. Carter's jaw tightened. Excuse me? I said shut up, Roman repeated, because every time you open your mouth, you make it harder for me not to walk over there and break your jaw. Selena put a hand on Roman's shoulder. Roman, not helping. Roman leaned back but did not take his eyes off Carter. Jonathan Hale cleared his throat. Mr. Virelli, I understand you're upset, but threatening a board member. I'm not threatening anyone, Roman said. I'm making an observation. Carter Sloan is a liability. He's cost this company $2 million in settlements. He's created a hostile work environment, and he's one lawsuit away from destroying Blackthorn's reputation permanently. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to fire him today, immediately, and you're going to reform your HR policies so this never happens again. Jonathan stared at him. Or what? Or I go to the press, Roman said. I go to the SEC. I go to every federal agency that investigates corporate misconduct. And I make sure everyone in Chicago knows that Blackthorn Plaza protects sexual predators. The board members exchanged glances. Then Vivian Mercer said something that changed everything. Mr. Virelli, before you make threats you can't take back, I think you should see something. She pulled a folder from her briefcase and slid it across the table toward Roman. Roman opened it. Inside were photographs. Not of Carter, of Naomi. Dozens of them. Surveillance photos taken over the past week. Naomi leaving her apartment. Naomi walking Micah to school. Naomi sitting in a coffee shop with Selena. Naomi standing on the sidewalk outside Blackthorn Plaza talking to Roman. And beneath the photos was a document, a background report. Roman's hands went cold as he read. Naomi Vale, age 27, no criminal record, high school graduate, community college dropout. Current employment, overnight cleaning staff, Blackthorn Plaza. Previous employment, waitress, fired for attendance issues, retail associate, quit after 3 months, hotel housekeeper, terminated for cause. Known associates, Micah Vale, brother, age 17, student at Lincoln High School. Selena Ward, attorney. Roman Virelli, investor, known criminal connections. Financial status, $847 in checking account, $23,000 in student loan debt, 2 months behind on rent. Eviction notice filed March 15th. Psychological evaluation, subject displays signs of instability, history of depression following parental death, no current mental health treatment, prescribed anxiety medication, 2019 to 2020, discontinued. Assessment, subject is financially desperate and emotionally vulnerable, likely motivated by settlement money rather than genuine trauma. Credibility, highly questionable. Roman looked up at Vivian. Where did you get this? Due diligence, Vivian said calmly. We have a responsibility to investigate complaints thoroughly. Naomi's background raises serious questions about her motivations. Naomi's face had gone white. You investigated me? We investigated your claims, Vivian said. And what we found suggests you're not interested in justice. You're interested in money. That's not true. You're 3 months behind on rent, Vivian continued. You have $23,000 in debt. You dropped out of college twice. You've been fired from multiple jobs. And now you're accusing a respected executive of assault right after connecting with an attorney known for winning large settlements. Selena's voice was ice. You're implying Naomi fabricated this entire story for financial gain. I'm saying the evidence supports that conclusion, Vivian replied. Naomi stood up so fast her chair fell backward. I didn't make this up. Then why did you wait 3 months to file a formal complaint? Jonathan asked. If Carter assaulted you, why didn't you report it immediately? I did report it, Naomi's voice cracked. I reported what he did to Alyssa, and you erased her. You threatened me. You told me if I ever mentioned Carter's name again, I'd lose everything. That's not what happened, Vivian said calmly. Our records show you never filed a formal complaint about Carter. You filed a complaint about unsafe working conditions. We addressed those concerns. The matter was closed. Naomi stared at her. You're lying. I'm reading from our system, Vivian said. She turned her laptop around to show the screen. See for yourself. Naomi looked at the screen. Her complaint had been rewritten. Every mention of Carter Sloane's name had been removed. Every detail about Alyssa's assault had been erased. What remained was a generic complaint about inadequate lighting in stairwells. You changed it, Naomi whispered. We documented what you reported, Vivian said. That's not what I reported. Naomi, Jonathan interrupted gently. I think you're confused. And I think that confusion stems from the significant stress you've been under. Losing your parents, raising your brother alone, struggling financially. Those are incredibly difficult circumstances. It's understandable that you might misremember events or misinterpret interactions. Naomi's hands were shaking. I didn't misremember anything. Then where's your evidence? Jonathan asked. You claim Carter assaulted you. Where are the witnesses? Where's the footage? Where's anything that corroborates your story beyond your word? Selena stood up. We have witness testimony from Alyssa Reed. Alyssa Reed signed a statement confirming no misconduct occurred, Vivian said. Would you like to see it? She pulled another document from her briefcase. An affidavit signed by Alyssa Reed stating she had never been harassed or assaulted by anyone at Blackthorn Plaza. Naomi's world tilted. She wouldn't sign that. She already did, Vivian said, 2 days ago. Selena grabbed the document. Her face went pale as she read. This was signed under duress, Selena said. Prove it, Vivian replied. Roman leaned forward. What did you offer her? I don't know what you mean, Vivian said. You paid her, Roman said. You paid her to recant her testimony. We offered Alyssa Reed a settlement to resolve any lingering concerns about her employment termination, Vivian said smoothly. She accepted. That's not illegal. It's witness tampering. It's legal dispute resolution. Selena's jaw tightened. We have security footage. No, you don't, Vivian interrupted. We reviewed our archives after receiving your request. The footage you're referring to no longer exists. It was deleted during a routine server upgrade 3 months ago. Standard data management protocol. That's convenient, Selena said coldly. That's policy, Vivian replied. Roman's voice dropped dangerously low. You erased the evidence. We followed data retention guidelines, Vivian said. Nothing more. Jonathan Hale leaned forward. Ms. Ward, Mr. Varelli, Naomi, I think we've all heard enough. It's clear that Naomi has been through a difficult time, and she's misinterpreted some workplace interactions. But there's no evidence of misconduct, no witnesses, no footage, just accusations from someone with a documented history of instability and financial desperation. That's not, Naomi started. However, Jonathan continued, speaking over her, Blackthorn Plaza is a compassionate company. We understand Naomi is struggling, so we're prepared to make an offer. He slid a document across the table. Naomi picked it up with trembling hands. It was a settlement agreement, $200,000. In exchange for Naomi's signature on a document stating she had never been harassed or assaulted by anyone at Blackthorn Plaza. In exchange for her silence. In exchange for disappearing quietly like the 11 women before her. That's a generous offer, Jonathan said. More than generous. It's enough to pay off your debts, cover your brother's college tuition, and give you a fresh start somewhere far away from Chicago. Naomi stared at the number. $200,000. More money than she had ever imagined having. Enough to save Micah. Enough to stop drowning. All you have to do is sign, Jonathan said quietly. And this all goes away. No trial. No media. No destroyed reputation. Just a clean exit and enough money to build a real future. Naomi looked at Roman. Roman's face was stone. She looked at Selena. Selena shook her head slowly. Don't do it. Naomi looked back at the document. $200,000. Or years of legal battles, destroyed credibility, and public humiliation. Her hand moved toward the pen Jonathan was offering. Then Carter Sloan made a mistake. He laughed. Quiet. Barely audible. But Naomi heard it. She looked up at him. He was smiling again. That same empty, charming, untouchable smile. And in that smile, Naomi saw every woman who had been erased before her. She saw Alyssa crying in a conference room. She saw the 11 settlements paid to women whose names she would never know. She saw the system that protected men like Carter while destroying women like her. She saw exactly what she would become if she signed. Invisible. Naomi set down the pen. No, she said. The room went silent. Naomi, Jonathan said carefully, I don't think you understand what you're turning down. I understand perfectly, Naomi said. Her voice was steadier now. You're offering me money to pretend Carter didn't hurt me. You're offering me money to let him keep hurting other women. You're offering me money to disappear so you never have to admit what you let happen inside this building. That's not what this is, Vivian said. Yes, it is, Naomi said. And I'm not signing. Carter's smile finally disappeared. Naomi, you're making a serious mistake. Maybe, Naomi said. But it's my mistake to make. Jonathan stood up. Ms. Ward, Mr. Varelli, I think this meeting is over. Naomi has made her position clear, so let me make ours equally clear. If you proceed with legal action against Carter Sloan or Blackthorn Plaza, we will fight you with every resource we have. We will depose Naomi for days. We will subpoena her medical records, her financial records, her personal correspondence. We will interview every person she's ever worked with, lived with, or dated. And when we're done, her credibility will be so thoroughly destroyed that no jury in the country will believe a word she says. We're not afraid of depositions, Selena said. You should be, Jonathan replied, because we're also prepared to file counterclaims, defamation, tortious interference, conspiracy. We'll name Naomi, we'll name you Ms. Ward, and we'll name you Mr. Varelli. By the time we're done, the three of you will be drowning in legal bills while we drag this case through the courts for years. Roman stood slowly. Are you finished? Not quite, Jonathan said. Roman, you own 12% of this company. That makes you a minority shareholder with no operational control. If you attempt to damage Blackthorn's reputation, you'll be violating your fiduciary duty. We'll sue you personally, we'll freeze your assets, and we'll make sure you never sit on another corporate board as long as you live. Roman smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. You think you can threaten me? I think you're overestimating your power, Jonathan said. And I think you have no idea who you're talking to. The temperature in the room dropped. Roman stepped away from the table and pulled out his phone. He made a call. Someone answered immediately. Vincent, Roman said. It's time. He hung up. Jonathan frowned. Time for what? Roman did not answer. 30 seconds later, Jonathan's phone buzzed, then Vivian's, then every board member's phone in the room. They all looked at their screens. Their faces went white. "What is this?" Vivian whispered. "Insurance," Roman said. He had sent them all the same thing. Every email Vivian had ever written about Carter, every settlement agreement, every financial record showing how Blackthorn had paid millions to silence assault victims, every deleted security footage file that Damian Cross had recovered from backup servers. And a note: "This goes public in 1 hour unless Carter Sloan is terminated immediately." Jonathan stared at his phone. "You can't do this." "I just did," Roman said. "If you release this, you'll destroy the company. Then fire Carter." "We can't just—" "You have 1 hour," Roman said. "Decide." He took Naomi's hand. "We're leaving." Selena grabbed her briefcase and followed them toward the door. But before they could leave, Carter Sloan spoke. "Naomi." She stopped. Carter stood up slowly. His face had changed. The charm was gone. What remained was something cold and cruel. "You think you've won," Carter said quietly. "But you haven't. You've just made things worse for yourself. Because even if they fire me, I know where you live. I know where your brother goes to school. And I have friends, powerful friends, who owe me favors." Roman moved so fast Naomi barely saw it. 1 second he was beside her. The next second he was across the room with Carter pinned against the wall, forearm pressed against Carter's throat. "Say that again," Roman whispered. Carter's face was turning red. "Get off me." Roman pressed harder. "I said say it again. Threaten her one more time. Give me a reason." "Roman," Selena shouted, "let him go." Roman did not move. Carter's eyes were bulging now. His hands clawed uselessly at Roman's arm. "Roman," Naomi said quietly. "Please." Something in her voice reached him. Roman released Carter and stepped back. Carter collapsed against the wall, gasping for air. Roman turned to the board members. "You have 59 minutes. Then he walked out. Naomi and Selena followed. The elevator ride down was silent. When they reached the ground floor, Selena finally spoke. "We just started a war." "Good," Roman said. "Roman, they're going to destroy us. They have unlimited resources. They'll drag this out for years. Let them try." Selena grabbed his arm. "You almost killed him up there. If Naomi hadn't stopped you—" "But she did," Roman said. He looked at Naomi. She was staring at the floor, her whole body shaking. "Are you okay?" Roman asked quietly. Naomi shook her head. "They made me look like I'm lying. They twisted everything. They paid Alyssa to recant. They erased the footage. They built a whole story where I'm just some desperate girl looking for money." "We knew they would do that," Selena said. "Knowing it and living through it are different things," Naomi said. Her voice broke. "They had photos of Micah. They know where he goes to school. They investigated every failed job I've ever had, every mistake I've ever made. They turned my entire life into evidence that I'm not worth believing." "You are worth believing," Roman said. "To you maybe," Naomi said. "But to them? To a jury? I'm nobody. I'm a janitor with debt and dead parents and a history of quitting things when they get hard. That's what they'll see. Not a victim, just a liability." "Then we change what they see," Selena said. "How?" Naomi asked. "They have unlimited money, unlimited lawyers. They just offered me $200,000 to disappear, which means they're willing to pay 10 times that to destroy me in court." Selena was quiet. Roman's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen. A text from Vincent. "Board meeting still in session, no decision yet." Roman showed the message to Selena. "They're not going to fire him," Selena said. "They're going to call our bluff." "It's not a bluff," Roman said. "Then you better be ready to follow through," Selena replied, "because the second you release those files, Blackthorn will come after you with everything they have. They'll sue you for breach of fiduciary duty. They'll claim you stole confidential documents. They'll tie you up in litigation until you're bankrupt. I can handle it." "Can Naomi?" Selena asked. Roman looked at Naomi. She looked smaller now than she had in the supply closet 3 weeks ago. Like the weight of fighting had finally crushed something essential inside her. "Naomi," Roman said quietly, "look at me." She did. "I need to know if you want to keep going," Roman said. Because if we release these files, there's no taking it back. Your name will be in every newspaper in Chicago. Your face will be on the news. Everyone you've ever known will be asked about you, and Blackthorn will spend millions making sure you look like a liar. Naomi's eyes filled with tears. What happens if I don't keep going? You take the settlement, Roman said. You disappear. You protect Micah. You survive. And Carter? Keeps working, Roman said. Keeps hunting. Keeps destroying women until someone else is brave enough to fight him. Naomi wiped her face. That's not a choice. That's just two different kinds of hell. I know, Roman said. Naomi looked at Selena. What would you do? Selena's expression softened slightly. I'd fight, but I'm not 27 with a 17-year-old brother depending on me. You have more to lose than I ever did. Naomi nodded slowly. Then she pulled out her phone and called Micah. He answered on the second ring. Naomi, you okay? Yeah, Naomi said. Her voice was steadier now. I'm okay. Listen, I need you to pack a bag. You're staying with Vincent for a few days. Who's Vincent? A friend. He'll pick you up from school in 20 minutes. Naomi, what's going on? I'll explain later, Naomi said. Just trust me, okay? There was a pause. Okay. I love you, Naomi said. Love you too. She hung up. Then she looked at Roman. Release the files. Naomi, release them, Naomi said. I'm done hiding. I'm done being afraid. If they want to destroy me, they'll have to do it in public. Roman held her gaze for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone and sent a message to Vincent. Do it. 3 seconds later, Roman's phone started buzzing continuously. Notifications, emails, calls. The files had gone public. Security footage of Carter cornering Naomi in empty hallways. HR emails detailing how to keep victims quiet. Settlement agreements proving Blackthorn had paid millions to cover up assaults. Financial records showing a pattern of protecting predators. All of it. Public. Permanent. Undeniable. Selena's phone started ringing. She answered, listened, then hung up. The board just called an emergency meeting, she said. Carter's been placed on administrative leave pending investigation. That's not enough, Roman said. It's a start, Selena replied. Naomi's phone buzzed, an unknown number. She answered. Is this Naomi Vale? A woman's voice. Yes. This is Rebecca Torres from Chicago Tribune. I just saw the documents released about Blackthorn Plaza. Would you be willing to comment? Naomi looked at Roman. He nodded. Yes, Naomi said. I'll comment. And that was how the war went public. Shpak. By midnight, the story was everywhere. Blackthorn Plaza accused of covering up sexual assault. Billionaire investor releases documents exposing corporate conspiracy. Anonymous janitor's complaint reveals systemic abuse at Chicago Tower. Naomi sat in Roman's penthouse watching the news coverage with Selena and Roman beside her. Her face was not on screen yet. Selena had insisted on keeping Naomi anonymous for as long as possible, but her story was. Every major outlet in Chicago was covering it. Some were sympathetic. Some were skeptical. Some were already questioning whether Naomi was credible. It started, Selena said quietly. What has? Naomi asked. The character assassination, Selena said. By tomorrow morning, Blackthorn's PR team will have leaked your name, your photo, and every negative detail they can find. They'll paint you as opportunistic, unstable, and desperate for attention. Can we stop them? Naomi asked. No, Selena said, but we can control the narrative. Tomorrow, we do a press conference. You tell your story in your own words before they can twist it. Naomi's stomach turned. I have to go on camera? Yes. And say what? The truth, Selena said. Exactly what happened. No embellishments, no drama, just the facts. Naomi looked at Roman. What if I freeze? What if I say the wrong thing? Then we'll handle it, Roman said. How? Roman did not have a good answer for that. His phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. A man's voice, familiar, cold. Roman Virelli. Who is this? Someone who's very disappointed in you. Roman's blood went cold. He recognized the voice now. Marcus Tennant, federal prosecutor, Chicago office. the man who had been investigating Roman's criminal empire for the past 3 years. "What do you want, Marcus?" Roman asked. "I want to congratulate you," Marcus said. "You just handed me everything I need to connect you to witness tampering, illegal surveillance, corporate espionage, and about 6 other felonies. So thank you. You made my job much easier." Roman's grip tightened on the phone. "I didn't do anything illegal." "You broke into Blackthorn Plaza. You stole confidential documents. You coerced witnesses. And you just published private corporate files without authorization. That's illegal, Roman. Very illegal. And now I have probable cause to come after you." "I exposed a cover-up. You committed multiple crimes while exposing a cover-up," Marcus interrupted, "which means you're just as guilty as the people you're accusing." Roman's jaw tightened. "What do you want?" "I want you to come in voluntarily tomorrow morning," Marcus said. "We'll talk. You'll answer some questions, and maybe, I won't arrest you in front of every camera in Chicago. And if I don't come in, then I'll issue a warrant," Marcus said. "And your face will be on the news right beside Naomi Vale's. Is that what you want? To turn this into a story about a criminal billionaire manipulating a vulnerable woman for his own agenda?" Roman closed his eyes. 9 a.m., Marcus said. "Federal building. Don't be late." He hung up. Roman set his phone down slowly. Selena was staring at him. "What happened?" "The FBI just threatened to arrest me," Roman said. Naomi's face went white. "What?" "Marcus Tennant, federal prosecutor. He's been investigating me for years. And now he thinks I broke the law getting evidence against Carter." "Did you?" Selena asked. Roman did not answer. Selena swore under her breath. "Roman, if you're charged with a crime, everything we've built collapses. Blackthorn's lawyers will argue that all the evidence is inadmissible because it was obtained illegally. They'll say you manipulated Naomi. They'll say this whole thing was orchestrated by a criminal trying to take down a legitimate company." "I didn't manipulate anyone. It doesn't matter what you did," Selena said. "It matters what a jury will believe. And right now, Marcus Tennant is about to give Blackthorn the perfect defense. Blame Roman Virelli." Naomi stood up abruptly. "This is my fault." "No, it's not," Roman said. "Yes, it is," Naomi said. "You got involved because of me. You broke into Carter's office because of me. You're about to be arrested because of me." "Naomi, I should have just taken the settlement," Naomi said. Her voice was breaking. "I should have disappeared like they wanted. Then none of this would be happening. You wouldn't be in trouble. Micah wouldn't be hiding, and I wouldn't be about to go on camera and let the entire world tear me apart." She walked toward the window. Tears were streaming down her face now. "I thought fighting back would make me feel stronger," Naomi said quietly. "But I just feel more broken than before." Roman walked over and stood beside her. "You're not broken." "Yes, I am," Naomi whispered. "I'm terrified. I'm exhausted, and I don't know how much more of this I can take." Roman wanted to promise her it would get easier. He wanted to promise her they would win. But he had never been good at lying. So instead, he just stood beside her while the city glowed below them, cold, indifferent, and full of people who would judge her without ever knowing her name. And somewhere across Chicago, Carter Sloan sat in his expensive home, sipping expensive whiskey and smiling because he knew exactly how this story would end. The powerful always won. The vulnerable always broke. And women like Naomi Vale always disappeared, except this time Naomi refused to disappear. Even if it killed her. The press conference was scheduled for 10 a.m. Naomi woke up at 5:37 a.m. in a guest room at Roman's penthouse, after 3 hours of sleep that felt like drowning. Her body ached, her head throbbed, her hands would not stop shaking. She sat on the edge of the bed staring at the clothes Selena had brought her yesterday. Navy blue dress, simple but professional, the kind of outfit designed to make her look credible instead of desperate. A knock on the door. "Come in," Naomi said. Roman entered carrying 2 cups of coffee. He looked like he had not slept at all. His shirt was wrinkled, his jaw was tight, but his eyes were clear. He handed her a cup. "How are you feeling?" "Like I'm about to jump off a building," Naomi said. "That's normal." "Is it?" Roman sat down beside her. "Selena's downstairs reviewing your statement. We'll go through it one more time before the cameras start rolling." Naomi took a sip of coffee. It burned her throat. "What time do you meet with the prosecutor?" 9. What happens if he arrests you? Then Selena handles the press conference alone. Roman, Naomi, listen to me, Roman interrupted. His voice was steady but urgent. No matter what happens to me today, you keep going. You tell your story. You don't apologize for anything, and you don't let them make you feel small. Naomi's eyes filled with tears. I already feel small. That's because they've spent 3 weeks trying to erase you, Roman said. But today, you take up space. You make them see you, and you don't let them look away. Naomi nodded slowly. Roman stood up. Get dressed. Selena wants you downstairs in 20 minutes. He left. Naomi sat alone in the silence, staring at the navy blue dress, wondering if fabric could hold together a person who was falling apart. She got dressed anyway. Downstairs, Selena was pacing the living room with a printed statement in one hand and her phone in the other. She looked up when Naomi entered. Good, Selena said. Sit down. We're running through this one more time. Naomi sat. Selena handed her the statement. This is what you're going to read. I've kept it short, 3 minutes. You introduce yourself, explain what happened, and make it clear that you're not looking for money. You're looking for accountability. Naomi scanned the words. They were clean, professional, stripped of emotion. This doesn't sound like me, Naomi said. It's not supposed to sound like you, Selena replied. It's supposed to sound credible. If you go off script and start crying or shouting, the media will use that against you. They'll say you're unstable, so you stick to the statement. No ad-libbing, no answering questions you're not prepared for. What if they ask about my financial problems? I'll handle it. What if they ask about Roman's criminal connections? I'll handle that too. Naomi looked up at Selena. What if they just don't believe me? Selena's expression softened slightly. Then we keep fighting until they do. Roman appeared in the doorway wearing a fresh suit. I'm leaving. Selena checked her watch. You have 45 minutes. I know. Naomi stood up. Roman, wait. He stopped. Naomi walked over to him. She did not know what to say. Thank you felt inadequate. I'm sorry felt wrong. So instead, she just said, don't let them break you. Roman almost smiled. Same to you. Then he left. Naomi watched him go, feeling like she was watching the only person who believed her walk into a trap. Selena's phone buzzed. She read the screen and swore under her breath. What? Naomi asked. Blackthorn just released their own statement, Selena said. She turned her phone around. Naomi read the headline. Blackthorn Plaza responds to allegations. Baseless accusations from financially motivated former employee. Below it was a statement from Jonathan Hale defending Carter Sloan, questioning Roman's credibility, and painting Naomi as a disgruntled worker seeking a payout. They're getting ahead of us, Selena said. They're framing the narrative before you even get to speak. Can we stop them? No, Selena said, but we can make sure your version is louder. She grabbed her briefcase. Car's waiting downstairs. Let's go. The press conference was being held at a law office in the Loop, neutral territory, away from Blackthorn Plaza and away from Roman's properties. Selena had arranged everything: podium, microphones, cameras, reporters from every major outlet in Chicago. Naomi walked into the conference room at 9:47 a.m. and immediately wanted to run. 30 journalists packed the space, cameras lined the back wall, microphones bristled on the podium like weapons. The air smelled like coffee and ambition. Selena guided Naomi to a chair behind the podium. Don't look at the cameras, look at me, and remember, stick to the statement. Naomi nodded. Her mouth was dry. Her hands were shaking again. At exactly 10 a.m., Selena stepped up to the podium. Good morning, Selena began. Her voice was clear and commanding. My name is Selena Ward. I represent Naomi Vale in a case concerning systemic sexual harassment, assault, and corporate conspiracy at Blackthorn Plaza. This morning, Naomi is here to tell her story in her own words. After her statement, I'll answer questions. Naomi will not be taking questions at this time. Selena stepped aside. Naomi stood up. Her legs felt like water. She walked to the podium. The cameras all turned toward her. Flashes exploded. Microphones leaned closer. She looked down at the statement in her hands. The words blurred. She took a breath. Then she started reading. My name is Naomi Vale. I'm 27 years old. For the past 2 years, I've worked as an overnight cleaning staff member at Blackthorn Plaza. On multiple occasions, I was sexually harassed and assaulted by Carter Sloan, the facility director. When I reported this behavior to Human Resources, my complaint was erased, and I was threatened with termination if I spoke about it again. Her voice was shaking but steady. I'm not here for money. I'm not here for attention. I'm here because what happened to me has happened to at least 11 other women. And if I don't speak now, it will keep happening. She paused, looked up. 50 pairs of eyes stared back at her. Carter Sloan used his position of power to terrorize female employees. Blackthorn Plaza protected him because he was valuable. And women like me, women who clean toilets and empty trash cans, were considered disposable. Someone in the back raised a hand. Selena shook her head sharply. No questions yet. Naomi looked back down at the statement. I know what people will say about me, that I'm lying, that I'm desperate for money, that I'm trying to destroy a good man's reputation, but I'm telling the truth, and I'm asking anyone else who's been hurt by Carter Sloan or silenced by Blackthorn Plaza to come forward. You're not alone. She finished reading. The room was silent for 3 seconds. Then chaos erupted. Naomi, how do you respond to Blackthorn's claim that you fabricated these allegations? Is it true you're 3 months behind on rent? What's your relationship with Roman Virelli? Did Roman pay you to make these accusations? Have you been diagnosed with any mental health conditions? Selena stepped forward. Naomi will not be answering questions. I will. A reporter in the front row stood up. Ms. Ward, Blackthorn Plaza released financial records showing Naomi Vale has significant debt and a history of employment instability. How do you explain that? Naomi's financial situation is irrelevant to whether she was assaulted, Selena said coldly. Poverty doesn't disqualify someone from being a victim. But it does suggest a motive for fabricating allegations, the reporter pressed. What suggests fabrication, Selena said, is 11 other women who were paid settlements by Blackthorn Plaza to stay silent about Carter Sloan's behavior. That's not coincidence, that's a pattern. Another reporter. What's your response to allegations that Roman Virelli illegally obtained evidence against Blackthorn? Roman Virelli is not my client, Selena said, but every document we've released was obtained through legal means. That's not what the FBI says. Selena's expression did not change. The FBI is welcome to investigate. They'll find nothing. A woman in the back. Naomi, why did you wait 3 months to come forward? Naomi looked at Selena. Selena shook her head. Don't answer. But Naomi grabbed the microphone anyway. Because I was scared, Naomi said. Her voice cracked. Because I didn't think anyone would believe me. Because the first time I reported what Carter did, I watched HR erase my complaint and threaten to destroy my life. So I stayed quiet. I kept cleaning his offices. I kept pretending everything was fine. And I hated myself every single day for it. The room went silent. But then I met someone who told me I deserved better, Naomi continued. And I realized that staying silent was killing me anyway. So I'm speaking now, even if it costs me everything. She stepped away from the podium. Selena grabbed her arm. We're done here. They walked out while reporters shouted questions behind them. Across the city, Roman sat in a small gray room at the federal building facing Marcus Tennant across a metal table. Marcus was exactly what Roman expected. Mid-40s, wire-rimmed glasses, the kind of face that had spent years learning how to show nothing. Thank you for coming in voluntarily, Marcus said. He set a thick folder on the table between them. Let's start with the easy question. How did you obtain confidential documents from Blackthorn Plaza? I own 12% of the company, Roman said. I have access. Not to HR files, not to sealed settlement agreements, not to security footage that was deleted months ago. Roman said nothing. Marcus opened the folder and pulled out a photograph. Roman recognized it immediately. Carter Sloan's office. The locked cabinet. The manila folder full of surveillance photos. You broke into Carter Sloan's office on the night of May 2nd, Marcus said. You picked 2 locks. You photographed confidential materials. Then you distributed those materials without authorization. That's breaking and entering, theft of private property, and corporate espionage. I was investigating a crime, Roman said. So call the police, Marcus replied. Don't break into someone's office and steal evidence. The police wouldn't have done anything. That's not your decision to make. Roman leaned forward. Are you seriously telling me you're more interested in how I got the evidence than what the evidence proves? I'm interested in both, Marcus said. But right now, we're talking about your crimes, not Carter Sloane's. Then you're wasting my time. Marcus pulled out another document. Phone records showing calls between Roman and Vincent Torres, Roman and Selena Ward, Roman and Damian Cross. You coordinated an illegal surveillance operation, Marcus said. You coerced witnesses. You paid people to steal confidential files. And now you're trying to hide behind Naomi Vale like she's the reason you did all this. Roman's jaw tightened. I didn't coerce anyone. You threatened Marcus Lowe. I told him the truth. You broke into his apartment at 4 a.m. and destroyed his phone. Roman did not deny it. Marcus leaned back. Here's what I think happened. I think you've been looking for a way to legitimize your criminal empire for years. I think you saw Naomi Vale as an opportunity, a sympathetic victim you could use to distract from your own illegal activities. So you manufactured evidence, manipulated witnesses, and turned a legitimate assault case into a circus. That's not what happened. Prove it. Roman said nothing. Marcus closed the folder. Roman, I've been investigating you for 3 years. I know about the money laundering. I know about the extortion. I know about the people who've disappeared after crossing you, but I could never prove any of it, until now, because you just handed me everything I need to put you away. For what? Helping a woman who was assaulted? For committing multiple felonies while helping her, Marcus said. Roman, you're looking at 5 to 10 years. Maybe more if I can connect you to witness tampering. Roman's hands curled into fists under the table. What do you want? I want you to back away from the Blackthorn case, Marcus said. Let Selena Ward handle it. Let Naomi tell her story without you lurking in the background. And maybe I'll consider reducing the charges. And if I don't? Marcus smiled. It was not a kind smile. Then I arrest you right now. I hold a press conference. And by noon, every headline in Chicago will read, Criminal billionaire arrested for manipulating assault victim. Roman stood up. We're done here. Sit down, Roman. No. Marcus stood too. If you walk out of this room, I'll issue a warrant within the hour. Then issue it, Roman said. But I'm not backing away from Naomi, not for you, not for anyone. He walked toward the door. Marcus called after him, You're going to destroy her, Roman. You think you're helping, but you're just making her look like your puppet. Roman stopped. His hand was on the doorknob. Naomi Vale made her own choice, Roman said quietly. I just gave her the tools to fight. And when you go to prison, Marcus asked, what happens to her then? Roman did not answer. He left. By 11:30 a.m., the story had exploded across every news outlet in Chicago. Naomi Vale speaks. I'm not lying. Blackthorn Plaza assault allegations. Victim or opportunist? Federal investigation into Roman Virelli's role in Blackthorn's scandal. Naomi sat in Selena's office watching the coverage on 3 different screens. Some outlets were sympathetic. Most were skeptical. A few were openly hostile. One anchor said, This is clearly a woman who saw an opportunity to exploit a wealthy man's guilt. Another said, The timing is suspicious. Why come forward now after months of silence? A third said, Roman Virelli's criminal background raises serious questions about his motives. Naomi's phone buzzed continuously. Messages from reporters, requests for interviews, threats from anonymous accounts telling her to kill herself. She turned her phone off. Selena walked into the office. Roman's back. Is he arrested? Not yet, Selena said, but Marcus Tennant is preparing charges. We have maybe 48 hours before this gets worse. Roman entered behind her. His face was stone. We need to move faster. We can't move faster, Selena said. We're already at maximum velocity. The press conference happened. The story's public. Now we wait for more women to come forward. What if they don't? Naomi asked quietly. Selena and Roman exchanged glances. They will, Selena said, but her voice lacked conviction. Roman's phone rang. He answered, listened. His expression darkened. When? Roman said. Then, how bad? He hung up. What happened? Selena asked. Someone just firebombed Damian Cross's car, Roman said. Naomi's blood went cold. Is he okay? He wasn't in it, Roman said. But the message is clear. Anyone who helps us becomes a target. Selena swore under her breath. Blackthorn? Who else? Roman said. We can't prove that. I don't need to prove it, Roman said. I just need to stop it. How? Selena asked. Roman pulled out his phone. By making them more afraid of me than I am of them. He made a call. Someone answered immediately. Vincent, Roman said. I need eyes on Jonathan Hale, Vivian Mercer, and Carter Sloan. 24 hours. If any of them so much as breathe wrong, I want to know about it. He hung up. Selena stared at him. Roman, if you retaliate... I'm not retaliating, Roman said. I'm protecting witnesses. That's the same thing. No, it's not, Roman said. Retaliation would be me walking into Carter's house tonight and beating him to death with my bare hands. This is restraint. Naomi stood up abruptly. Stop. Both of them turned to look at her. Just stop, Naomi said. Her voice was shaking. Roman, you're about to be arrested. Selena, we're running out of witnesses. And I'm sitting here watching people threaten to kill themselves on the internet because they think I'm lying. None of this is working. It takes time, Selena started. We don't have time, Naomi shouted. Every day this drags on. More people decide I'm a liar. More people side with Blackthorn. More people think I'm just some desperate girl who wanted money. And you know what? Maybe they're right. Maybe I should have just taken the settlement and disappeared. Naomi, no, Naomi said. You told me fighting would make me stronger. You told me speaking up would change things. But I don't feel stronger. I feel destroyed. And nothing has changed except now everyone knows my name and half of them hate me. Roman stepped toward her. We're not giving up. Maybe we should, Naomi said. Tears were streaming down her face now. Maybe I should. You don't mean that. Yes, I do, Naomi said. Because I'm tired of being brave. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of waking up every morning terrified that today's the day they finally break me. I just want it to stop. The room was silent. Then Selena's phone rang. She looked at the screen. Her eyes widened. It's Loretta Hayes. The room froze. Loretta Hayes, the veteran cleaning supervisor who had worked at Blackthorn for 12 years, the woman who knew everything but refused to talk because she had 3 kids and could not afford to lose her job. Selena answered. Loretta? She listened. Her face went pale. When? Selena asked. Then, are you somewhere safe? More listening. Okay, Selena said. Don't move. I'm sending someone to get you. She hung up. What happened? Roman asked. Selena looked at Naomi. Loretta just got fired. Blackthorn claimed she falsified timesheets. They escorted her out of the building an hour ago. Why is she calling you? Naomi asked. Because she's ready to talk, Selena said. She said if they're going to destroy her anyway, she might as well tell the truth. Roman pulled out his phone. I'll send Vincent. No, Selena said. I'll go. Loretta doesn't trust men. She barely trusts me. She grabbed her coat. Stay here. Both of you. Don't talk to anyone. Don't open the door. Don't do anything stupid. She left. Naomi and Roman sat in silence. After a long moment, Naomi said quietly, What if Loretta's testimony isn't enough? It will be, Roman said. You don't know that. No, Roman admitted. But I know that 12 years of working at Blackthorn means Loretta saw things nobody else did. And if she's willing to testify, that changes everything. Naomi wiped her face. I don't know how much more of this I can take. Roman moved closer. Then take it 1 hour at a time, 1 minute if you have to. And when the FBI arrests you, then you keep going without me. I can't do this alone. Yes, you can, Roman said. You've been doing it alone your whole life. I just gave you backup. Naomi looked at him. Why did you really help me, Roman? And don't say it's because you own the building. That's not the whole truth. Roman was quiet for a long time. Then he said, because I spent 15 years becoming the kind of man people are afraid of. And I thought that was power. But then I met you, and I realized the only thing I'd really become was lonely. You were terrified and broke and barely surviving, but you still tried to save Alyssa. You still showed up to work every night, even though you were drowning. And I looked at you and thought, that's what strength actually looks like. Not violence, not control, just refusing to disappear. Naomi's eyes filled with tears again. I don't feel strong. That's because strength doesn't feel like anything, Roman said. It just looks like getting up every morning when staying down would be easier. Naomi leaned against him. He did not move. He just let her weight rest against his shoulder while the city hummed 47 stories below them. Roman? Naomi said after a while. Yeah? If you go to prison, will you be okay? Roman almost laughed. Probably not. That's not reassuring. I know, Roman said, but it's honest. They sat in silence until Selena returned 2 hours later with Loretta Hayes. Loretta was 53 years old, dark skin lined with exhaustion. Wearing a Blackthorn maintenance uniform she had not had time to change out of, her eyes were red from crying. Her hands shook as Selena guided her into the office. Naomi stood up immediately. Loretta! Loretta looked at her. I'm sorry, baby. For what? For not speaking up sooner, Loretta said. Her voice broke. I knew what Carter was doing. I saw him corner you. I saw him follow other girls, and I said nothing because I was scared. And now they fired me anyway. Naomi walked over and took Loretta's hands. It's okay. It's not okay, Loretta said. I watched him destroy you, and I did nothing. You're doing something now, Naomi said quietly. Selena gestured to a chair. Loretta, sit down. Tell us what you know. Loretta sat. She took a shaky breath. Then she started talking. I've worked at Blackthorn for 12 years, Loretta began. I've seen 7 facility directors come and go. Carter Sloan has been the worst. He started 3 years ago, and within months, girls were coming to me crying, asking to switch shifts, asking to transfer floors. I knew why, but I couldn't help them. HR didn't care. Management didn't care. And if I made noise, I'd lose my job. What did you see? Selena asked. Everything, Loretta said. I saw Carter trap a girl named Monica in a supply closet. I saw him follow another girl, Jessica, to the parking garage and stand by her car until she was too scared to leave. I saw him corner Naomi in the west stairwell and grab her so hard she had bruises for weeks. Why didn't you report it? Selena asked gently. Loretta's face crumpled. Because I have 3 kids. Because I'm the only income in my house. Because I knew what happened to girls who reported Carter. They disappeared. And I couldn't afford to disappear. But you're talking now, Roman said. Because they fired me anyway, Loretta said bitterly. I spent 12 years protecting that company. I covered shifts when girls quit because Carter scared them away. I cleaned up after executives. I kept my mouth shut when I should have been screaming. And the second I became inconvenient, they threw me out like garbage. Selena pulled out a recorder. Loretta, I need you to say everything you just told me on record. Can you do that? Loretta nodded. Yes, it's going to be used in court. Defense attorneys will cross-examine you. They'll try to discredit you. Let them try, Loretta said. I'm done being quiet. Selena pressed record. And for the next 3 hours, Loretta Hayes testified to 12 years of silence, complicity, and watching powerful men destroy vulnerable women while everyone looked away. When she finished, Selena stopped the recording. This is enough, Selena said quietly. With Loretta's testimony, Alyssa's statement, and the financial records, we have a prosecutable case. Against Carter? Naomi asked. Against Carter, Vivian Mercer, and Jonathan Hale, Selena said. Conspiracy to obstruct justice, witness tampering, corporate fraud, all of it. Roman stood up. Then we file charges. Today. We can't, Selena said. Not until the FBI finishes investigating you. If we file now, Blackthorn's lawyers will argue the case is tainted by your criminal activity. Then what do? We wait, Selena said. For what? For Marcus Tennant to either arrest you or clear you, Selena said. And we pray it's the latter. Roman's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen. His face went white. What? Naomi asked. Roman turned his phone around. A news alert. Breaking. Carter Sloan found dead in apparent suicide. The room went silent. Naomi grabbed the phone and read the article. Her hands were shaking so badly she almost dropped it. Carter Sloan, 46, facility director at Blackthorn Plaza, was found dead in his home this evening from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police are investigating. Sloan had recently been placed on administrative leave following allegations of sexual misconduct. Naomi looked up at Roman. He's dead.
I see that, Roman said quietly. Did you? No, Roman said immediately. I didn't touch him. Selena was already on her phone. This changes everything. How? Naomi asked. Because now Blackthorn's lawyers will argue that Carter was innocent and killed himself because of false accusations, Selena said. They'll paint him as the victim. They'll say we drove him to suicide, and suddenly this case becomes about whether we're responsible for his death. That's insane, Naomi said.
That's strategy, Selena replied. Roman's phone rang. Vincent. Roman answered. Tell me you had nothing to do with this. We didn't, Vincent said. Our surveillance shows Carter was alone all evening. No visitors, no signs of coercion. He wrote a note. What did it say? I can't live with what they're saying about me, Vincent read. I'm innocent, and I can't prove it. Roman hung up. He looked at Naomi. Carter's suicide note claims he was innocent.
Naomi's legs gave out. She sat down hard. So that's it. He's dead, and now everyone will believe him instead of me. No, Selena said firmly. We still have evidence. We still have witnesses. Carter's death doesn't erase what he did. But it makes me look like I killed him, Naomi said. Her voice was hollow. I accused him. He died. Now I'm the villain.
Roman crouched down in front of her. Naomi, listen to me. Carter didn't kill himself because of you. He killed himself because he was about to lose everything. His job, his reputation, his freedom. That's not your fault. Then why does it feel like it is? Naomi whispered. Before Roman could answer, Selena's phone rang. She answered, listened. Her face went pale. When? Selena asked. Then, how many? She hung up slowly. What happened? Roman asked. Selena looked at Naomi. 7 more women just came forward. They saw the press conference, they saw Loretta's testimony, and they're ready to testify that Carter Sloan assaulted them too. Naomi stared at her. 7? 7, Selena confirmed. Carter's suicide just broke the dam. Women who were too scared to speak before aren't scared anymore because he can't hurt them now. Roman stood up. Then we bury Blackthorn. We can't, Selena said. Not until the FBI clears you. Then I'll turn myself in, Roman said. I'll confess to every crime Marcus Tennant thinks I committed. I'll take whatever sentence he gives me, but I won't let Carter's death destroy Naomi's case. Roman, no, Naomi started. It's the only way, Roman said. If I remove myself from the equation, Blackthorn loses their best defense. They can't argue the case is tainted if I'm in prison. You're not going to prison for me, Naomi said. Yes, I am, Roman said, because this stopped being about me a long time ago. This is about you, and Alyssa, and Loretta, and 7 other women who finally found the courage to speak. I'm not letting my past destroy their future. Selena was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, there might be another way. Both Roman and Naomi turned to look at her. What way? Roman asked. Roman up. We make a deal with Marcus Tennant, Selena said. Roman testifies against Blackthorn Plaza in exchange for immunity. He gives the FBI everything, financial records, witness statements, evidence of corporate conspiracy, and in return, Marcus drops the charges. Why would Marcus agree to that? Roman asked. Because taking down Blackthorn Plaza is a bigger win than putting you in prison, Selena said. Corporate conspiracy cases make headlines, they build careers, and Marcus Tennant is ambitious. Roman considered this. And if he says no? Then you go to prison, Selena said. But at least we tried. Naomi stood up. I don't want either of you going to prison because of me. Then help us win, Selena said, because the only way we all survive this is if we take Blackthorn down so hard they never get back up. Roman pulled out his phone. I'll call Marcus. Not yet, Selena said. First, we talk to the 7 women who just came forward. We build an airtight case. Then we present Marcus with a deal he can't refuse. Roman nodded slowly. Naomi looked at both of them. What if this still doesn't work? What if we do everything right and we still lose? Selena's expression was grim. Then at least we went down fighting. Omote. That night, Naomi stood alone on the balcony of Roman's penthouse staring at the city below. Carter Sloan was dead. 7 more women had come forward. Roman was negotiating with the FBI. And somewhere in the darkness, Blackthorn Plaza's lawyers were preparing their final defense. Naomi thought about the supply closet where this all started. The flickering fluorescent light, the smell of cleaning chemicals. The moment Roman walked in and everything changed. She thought about how small she had felt that night, and how small she still felt now. But smaller than before? No. Naomi turned away from the city and walked back inside. Tomorrow, she would face Blackthorn Plaza one more time. Tomorrow, she would stand in front of cameras and journalists and lawyers who wanted to destroy her. Tomorrow, she would risk everything for a chance at something that felt impossible. Justice. And if she lost, then at least she would lose standing up. Behind her, the city glowed, indifferent, endless, and full of women who were still learning how to stop being afraid. Naomi was one of them, and she was done disappearing. The FBI meeting happened at 8 a.m. in a conference room that smelled like burnt coffee and old carpet. Roman sat across from Marcus Tennant with Selena beside him. Marcus had brought 2 federal agents and enough documentation to bury Roman for the next decade. "Let me make sure I understand your proposal," Marcus said. He was leaning back in his chair with his arms crossed like a man who held all the cards and knew it. "You want full immunity in exchange for testifying against Blackthorn Plaza." "That's correct," Selena said. Marcus smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "And why would I give Roman Virelli, a man I've been investigating for 3 years, a free pass?" "Because Blackthorn Plaza is a bigger target than Roman," Selena said. "Corporate conspiracy, witness tampering, systematic cover-up of sexual assault. That's a case that makes national headlines. That's a case that builds careers." "Or," Marcus said, "I prosecute both. Roman for illegal evidence collection, Blackthorn for corporate misconduct. Why settle for one when I can have both?" Roman leaned forward. "Because you can't prove Blackthorn did anything wrong without the evidence I obtained. And if you prosecute me for how I got it, every piece of that evidence becomes inadmissible, which means Blackthorn walks free and you get nothing except me in prison for 5 years." Marcus was quiet for a moment. Then he opened one of the folders in front of him. "Roman, I have statements from 3 witnesses saying you coerced them into cooperating. I have security footage showing you breaking into Carter Sloan's office. I have phone records proving you coordinated an illegal surveillance operation. I don't need your evidence. I just need you." "Then why are we here?" Roman asked. "Because I wanted to see if you'd be smart enough to take a deal," Marcus said. "But clearly you're not." He stood up. Selena stood too. "Marcus, wait. Look at these." She pulled a folder from her briefcase and slid it across the table. Inside were statements from 7 women, the ones who had come forward after Carter's death. Each statement detailed assaults, harassment, and intimidation spanning years. Each statement corroborated Naomi's testimony. Each statement proved a pattern. "These women are prepared to testify," Selena said, "but only if Roman isn't facing criminal charges. Because if you prosecute him, Blackthorn's lawyers will argue that he manufactured this entire case. They'll say he coerced witnesses. They'll say he manipulated Naomi, and every one of these women will be too afraid to speak." Marcus picked up the statements and read them slowly. The room was silent. After a long moment, Marcus set the papers down. "What exactly are you asking for?" "Complete immunity for Roman in exchange for his full cooperation," Selena said. "He gives you everything: financial records, witness coordination, security footage. He testifies in court if necessary. And when this is over, you get credit for taking down one of Chicago's most powerful corporations." Marcus looked at Roman. "And what do you get?" "I get to make sure Naomi Vale isn't destroyed for telling the truth," Roman said quietly. Marcus was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "I'll need to see everything, every file, every recording, every piece of evidence you obtained. If I find out you're holding anything back, the deal is off, and you go to prison. Understood?" Roman nodded. "Understood." Marcus looked at Selena. "You have 24 hours to deliver everything, and Roman doesn't leave Chicago until I say he can." "Agreed," Selena said. Marcus gathered his files. "One more thing. If this case falls apart, if your witnesses recant, if the evidence doesn't hold up, if anything goes wrong, I'm coming after Roman with everything I have. This is his one chance. Don't waste it." He left. Roman and Selena sat in silence. After a moment, Selena said, That was closer than I'd like. Did we just win? Roman asked. We bought time, Selena said. Winning comes later. Washem. 3 days later, Blackthorn Plaza called an emergency board meeting. Naomi was not invited, but Roman was. He walked into the same boardroom where this had all started. Same mahogany table, same floor-to-ceiling windows, same executives who had protected Carter Sloan for years. Except this time, Carter's chair was empty. And this time, Roman was not disguised as a maintenance worker. Jonathan Hale sat at the head of the table. Vivian Mercer sat beside him. The rest of the board members looked like people who had just realized their ship was sinking. Mr. Varelli, Jonathan said. His voice was strained. Thank you for coming. Roman sat down. Let's skip the pleasantries. What do you want? Jonathan exchanged glances with Vivian. Then he slid a document across the table. We're prepared to offer a global settlement, Jonathan said. $20 million split between Naomi Vale and the other women who've come forward. In exchange, all parties agree to drop their claims and sign non-disclosure agreements. Roman picked up the document and read it slowly. $20 million. More money than Naomi had ever imagined. Enough to rebuild her life. Enough to send Micah to college. Enough to disappear forever if she wanted. Roman set the document down. No. Jonathan blinked. Excuse me? I said no, Roman repeated. Naomi's not signing an NDA. None of the women are. Mr. Varelli, $20 million is an extraordinarily generous offer. It's hush money, Roman interrupted. You're trying to buy their silence so this never goes to trial. We're trying to resolve this matter quickly and fairly, Vivian said. There's nothing fair about paying people to pretend you didn't cover up sexual assault for 5 years, Roman said. Jonathan's jaw tightened. Roman, be reasonable. If this goes to trial, it will drag on for years. The women will be deposed, cross-examined, and publicly humiliated. Their personal lives will be dissected. And at the end of it all, there's no guarantee they'll win. Then we'll take that risk, Roman said. Why? Vivian asked. Why put them through that when they could walk away with life-changing money right now? Because some things are worth more than money, Roman said. Like accountability. Like making sure Carter Sloan's name is permanently attached to what he did. Like ensuring no woman ever has to work in this building afraid again. Jonathan leaned forward. Roman, you're a businessman. You understand leverage. You understand negotiation. Right now you have the upper hand. But if you push this to trial, things will get ugly. We'll fight. We'll bring in the best lawyers money can buy. And we'll make sure every detail of your criminal past is aired in open court. Do it, Roman said. I don't care. What about Naomi? Vivian asked. Do you think she's strong enough to survive a trial? Do you think she can handle months of being called a liar on national television? Roman stood up. I think Naomi Vale is stronger than anyone in this room. And I think she'll decide for herself whether to settle or fight. He walked toward the door. Roman, Jonathan called after him, if you walk out of here, we go to war. No mercy, no compromise. We'll destroy everyone who stands against us. Roman stopped. He turned back. You already tried that, and you failed. He left. That night, Roman called Naomi and told her about the settlement offer. They sat in his penthouse, Naomi on the couch, Roman standing by the window, Selena reviewing documents at the dining table. $20 million, Naomi said quietly. She was staring at her hands. That's more money than I'll ever see in my entire life. It is, Roman said. And if I take it, this is over. No trial, no depositions, no cameras, just money and silence. That's what they're offering, Roman said. Naomi looked up at him. What do you think I should do? Roman walked over and sat down beside her. I think you should do whatever lets you sleep at night. That's not an answer. It's the only answer that matters, Roman said. Naomi, I can tell you what I want. Selena can tell you what's strategically smart. But at the end of the day, you're the one who has to live with this decision, not me, not Selena, you. Naomi was quiet for a long time. Then she said, if I take the money, what happens to the other women? They'll probably settle too, Selena said from the table. Blackthorn will pay them off individually. Everyone signs NDAs. The story disappears. And Carter's name? Gets buried with him, Selena said. History remembers him as a man who killed himself because of false accusations. Naomi's hands curled into fists. That's not what happened. I know, Selena said, but that's how it'll be written if you settle. Naomi stood up and walked to the window. The city stretched out below her, 47 stories of glass and steel, and people who had no idea what happened inside buildings like this one. I spent my whole life invisible, Naomi said quietly. Nobody knew my name. Nobody cared if I existed. And then Carter hurt me, and suddenly I had a choice. Stay invisible and survive, or become visible and risk everything. She turned to face Roman. You know what the worst part is? I thought choosing visibility would make me feel powerful, but it just made me feel exposed. Every day, people I've never met decide whether I'm telling the truth or lying, whether I'm brave or opportunistic, whether I deserve sympathy or contempt, and I can't control any of it. No, Roman said, you can't.
So why keep fighting? Naomi asked. Her voice broke. Why not just take the money and disappear? Why not let myself be invisible again? Roman stood up and walked over to her. Because you already know the answer. Naomi looked at him. Tears were streaming down her face. Do I? Yes, Roman said. You knew it the moment you refused to sign the first settlement. You knew it when you walked into that press conference. You knew it every time someone called you a liar and you kept talking anyway. You're fighting because staying invisible means letting Carter win, and you're not willing to do that. Naomi wiped her face. What if I lose? Then you lose, Roman said. But at least you'll lose as yourself, not as someone they paid to disappear. Naomi closed her eyes. She stood there for a long moment, breathing, thinking, deciding. Then she opened her eyes and looked at Selena. Tell Blackthorn we're going to trial. Selena nodded slowly. Are you sure? No, Naomi said. But I'm doing it anyway.
The trial began 4 months later. Naomi sat in the courtroom wearing the same navy blue dress she had worn to the press conference. Selena sat beside her. Roman sat in the gallery behind them, silent and watchful. Across the aisle, Blackthorn Plaza's legal team filled 3 rows. Expensive suits, leather briefcases, faces that showed no emotion. Jonathan Hale sat among them. Vivian Mercer sat beside him. Both of them stared straight ahead, refusing to look at Naomi. The judge entered. Everyone stood. Be seated, the judge said. We're here for the matter of Vale versus Blackthorn Plaza Corporation. Is the plaintiff ready? Selena stood. Yes, Your Honor. Is the defense ready? Blackthorn's lead attorney stood. Yes, Your Honor. Then let's begin. For the next 6 weeks, the trial consumed everything. Naomi testified for 3 days. She described every assault, every threat, every moment Carter Sloan made her feel like she did not matter. Blackthorn's lawyers cross-examined her for hours, asking about her debts, her failed jobs, her mental health, her relationship with Roman. They tried to break her. She did not break. Alyssa Reed testified next. She described the night Carter cornered her in the conference room, how Naomi saved her, and how HR paid her to disappear. Blackthorn's lawyers called her a liar. She did not flinch. Loretta Hayes testified for an entire day. She described 12 years of watching women get hurt and staying silent because she was afraid. By the time she finished, half the courtroom was crying. Damian Cross testified about the security footage that mysteriously disappeared. Technical experts confirmed the files had been deliberately deleted. Financial analysts testified about the $2 million Blackthorn had paid in settlements. The 7 other women who had come forward each took the stand and told their stories. By the time the prosecution rested, the evidence was overwhelming. Then Blackthorn's defense began. They called corporate executives who swore Carter Sloan was a model employee. They called psychologists who suggested Naomi was unstable. They called former co-workers who said Naomi was difficult to work with. They presented Carter's suicide note as proof of his innocence. They argued that Roman had manufactured evidence and manipulated witnesses. They painted Naomi as an opportunist who saw a chance to get rich by destroying a good man's reputation. The trial dragged on. The media coverage was relentless. Half the country believed Naomi. Half the country thought she was lying. And through it all, Naomi showed up every day, sat in that courtroom, and refused to disappear. The jury deliberated for 5 days. Naomi spent those 5 days in Roman's penthouse, unable to eat, unable to sleep, unable to think about anything except 12 strangers deciding whether she was telling the truth. On the morning of the 5th day, the call came. The jury had reached a verdict. Naomi, Selena, and Roman drove to the courthouse in silence. The building was surrounded by reporters, cameras, and protesters holding signs that said both justice for Naomi and Carter Sloan was innocent. They walked through the crowd and into the courtroom. The jury filed in, 12 faces showing nothing. The judge entered. Has the jury reached a verdict? The foreman stood. We have, Your Honor. Please read the verdict. The foreman unfolded a piece of paper. His voice was steady and clear. In the matter of Vail versus Blackthorn Plaza Corporation, on the charge of sexual harassment, we find for the plaintiff. Naomi's breath caught. On the charge of assault, we find for the plaintiff. Selena squeezed Naomi's hand. On the charge of corporate conspiracy to obstruct justice, we find for the plaintiff. The courtroom erupted. The judge banged his gavel. Order! Order in this court! The foreman continued. We award the plaintiff compensatory damages in the amount of $5 million and punitive damages in the amount of $15 million. Naomi could not breathe. She could not move. She could not process what she was hearing. $20 million, the same amount Blackthorn had offered her to stay silent. Except this time she did not have to sign an NDA. This time the world knew what Carter Sloan had done. This time she had won. The judge addressed the jury. Thank you for your service. This court is adjourned. He banged the gavel one final time. The courtroom exploded into chaos. Reporters rushed toward Naomi. Cameras flashed. People shouted questions. Selena pulled Naomi toward the side exit. Roman followed, blocking reporters with his body. They made it to a small conference room and locked the door. Naomi collapsed into a chair. Her whole body was shaking. Did that just happen? Yes, Selena said. She was smiling, actually smiling. You won, Naomi. You won. Naomi started crying, not sad tears, not angry tears, just tears that came from somewhere so deep inside her she did not know it existed. Roman crouched down in front of her. You did it. Naomi shook her head. We did it. No, Roman said quietly. You did this. You're the one who refused to disappear. You're the one who testified for 3 days while they tried to destroy you. You're the one who stood up when everyone else stayed quiet. This is yours, Naomi. Own it. Naomi wiped her face. What happens now? Now we go outside and face the cameras, Selena said. You make a statement. You tell the world what this verdict means, and then you go home. And Blackthorn? Blackthorn is finished, Selena said. Between the verdict, the criminal investigations, and the regulatory inquiries, they'll be bankrupt within a year. Jonathan Hale and Vivian Mercer are facing criminal charges, and every woman who ever worked there now knows she has a voice. Naomi took a shaky breath. I want to see Micah. He's waiting outside, Roman said. Naomi stood up. Her legs felt weak but steady enough. They walked out of the conference room and through the courthouse. Outside, the sun was shining. The air smelled like exhaust and possibility. Micah was standing at the bottom of the courthouse steps. When he saw Naomi, he ran toward her. She caught him in a hug and held on tight. You won, Micah whispered. I know, Naomi said. I'm proud of you. Naomi pulled back and looked at her brother, 17 years old, tall enough now that she had to look up slightly to meet his eyes. I'm proud of me too, Naomi said, and for the first time in months, she meant it. Dates. The press conference happened on the courthouse steps. Naomi stood at a podium with microphones pointed at her like weapons. Selena stood beside her. Roman stood slightly behind, watching, protective, silent. My name is Naomi Vail, she began. Her voice was steady now. 6 months ago, I was invisible. I cleaned offices at night while people slept. Nobody knew my name. Nobody cared if I existed. And then I reported that a powerful man assaulted me, and suddenly everyone had an opinion about whether I was telling the truth. She paused. The cameras did not blink. Today, a jury decided I was telling the truth. They decided Carter Sloan abused his power. They decided Blackthorn Plaza covered up his crimes. And they decided that women like me, women who clean toilets, women who struggle to pay rent, women who are invisible most of the time, deserve justice too. A reporter shouted, Naomi, how does it feel to win $20 million? Naomi looked directly at the camera.
It doesn't feel like winning. It feels like surviving. Because no amount of money brings back the nights I spent terrified. No amount of money erases what Carter did to me and to the other women he hurt. But this verdict says we mattered. Our pain mattered. And maybe that's enough. Another reporter. Do you have a message for other women who've been assaulted? Naomi nodded. Yes. I know you're scared. I know you think nobody will believe you. I know you think speaking up will destroy your life. And maybe it will. Maybe people will call you a liar. Maybe you'll lose your job. Maybe you'll spend months being torn apart by strangers who've never met you. But I'm standing here today because I decided that being destroyed while telling the truth was better than surviving while staying silent. And if I can do it, so can you.
She stepped away from the podium. The reporters shouted more questions, but Naomi was done talking. She walked down the courthouse steps with Selena on one side and Roman on the other. Micah fell into step beside her. They walked through the crowd of cameras and protesters and people who still did not know whether to believe her. And Naomi realized something. She did not need them to believe her anymore. She had already won. Otto. 3 months later, on a summer evening that smelled like rain and possibility, Naomi returned to Blackthorn Plaza for the first time since the trial. The building looked different now. Half the floors were empty. The company logo had been removed from the entrance. For lease signs covered the windows. Blackthorn Plaza was dying. Naomi stood on the sidewalk staring up at the glass tower. Roman stood beside her. How does it feel? Roman asked. Strange, Naomi said. I used to think this building was so big, so powerful, like it could swallow me whole and nobody would notice. And now? Naomi smiled slightly. Now it's just a building. They walked inside. The lobby was empty. No security guards, no executives, just echoes and ghosts. Naomi took the elevator to the 32nd floor where the supply closet was. The place where Roman had found her 6 months ago crying under a flickering fluorescent light. The door was open now. Someone had cleaned out the mop buckets and chemicals. The space was empty except for shadows. Naomi stepped inside. The light still flickered. The walls still smelled faintly of bleach. This is where it started, Naomi said quietly. Roman stood in the doorway. Are you okay? Yeah, Naomi said. I just needed to see it again. To remind myself that I'm not that person anymore. Who are you now? Naomi thought about that. 6 months ago, she would have said she was nobody. A janitor. A girl with debt and dead parents and no future. But that was not who she was anymore. I'm someone who survived, Naomi said. I'm someone who fought back. And I'm someone who's still figuring out what comes next. She walked out of the supply closet. Roman followed. They took the elevator back down and walked out of Blackthorn Plaza together. Outside, the city was glowing in the fading light. Traffic hummed. People moved past them on the sidewalk, strangers living their own invisible lives. Naomi looked up at the building one last time. Then she turned away. Where do you want to go? Roman asked. Naomi thought about that. For the first time in her life, she had choices. She had money. She had freedom. She could go anywhere, do anything, become anyone. I want to go back to school, Naomi said. I want to finish my degree. And then I want to help other women who've been hurt. Maybe work for Selena. Maybe start my own organization. I don't know yet. But I want to do something that matters. Roman nodded. That sounds right. They walked down the street together. The summer air was warm. The rain had not started yet, but it would soon. Roman? Naomi said after a while. Yeah? What are you going to do now? Roman was quiet for a moment. I'm not sure. The FBI cleared me, but my reputation is gone. Half the city thinks I'm a criminal who manipulated you. The other half thinks I'm some kind of vigilante hero. Neither version feels like me. Then who are you? Roman smiled slightly. I'm still figuring that out too. They walked in silence for a few more blocks. Then Naomi said, Thank you. For what? For believing me when nobody else did, Naomi said. For giving me a chance to fight. For standing beside me even when it cost you everything. Roman stopped walking. He turned to face her. Naomi, you don't owe me anything. You did this yourself. All I did was make sure you had the tools. That was enough, Naomi said. They stood there on the sidewalk while the city moved around them. Indifferent, endless, full of people carrying their own invisible wars.
What happens to us now? Naomi asked quietly.
Roman looked at her. What do you want to happen? Naomi did not know how to answer that. Roman had been her protector, her ally, her friend, but they had never talked about what they were to each other beyond the case. I don't know, Naomi said honestly. I just know I don't want to lose you. Roman stepped closer. You're not going to lose me. How do you know? Because I'm not going anywhere, Roman said quietly. Not unless you want me to. Naomi looked up at him. For the first time, she saw past the dangerous billionaire, past the crime lord, past the man everyone was afraid of. She just saw someone who was as broken and imperfect as she was. Someone trying to figure out how to be better. Someone who had given her the chance to be more than invisible. I don't want you to go anywhere, Naomi said. Roman smiled. It was not his usual cold smile. It was something warmer, something real. Then I won't. They stood there for another moment. Then Naomi slipped her hand into his, and together they walked away from Blackthorn Plaza, away from the supply closet where everything started, away from the courtroom where she had won, and into a future that belonged entirely to them. Behind them, high above the city, the old supply closet door remained open, a silent reminder that some battles were worth fighting, some voices were worth hearing, and some women refused to disappear no matter how hard the world tried to erase them. Naomi Vale was one of them, and her story was just beginning. 2 years later, Naomi stood in a conference room in downtown Chicago, addressing a group of 20 women who had come forward with their own stories of workplace assault. She wore a professional suit now. Her hair was pulled back. Her face showed confidence earned through fire. I know you're scared, Naomi said to the women sitting in front of her. I know you're scared, but I'm here to tell you that staying silent destroys you too, Naomi continued, just slower, just quieter. So if you're going to be destroyed either way, you might as well choose the path that gives you a chance to rebuild. After the meeting, Naomi walked back to her office, a small space on the 15th floor of a building that used to intimidate her but now felt like home. Selena was waiting inside. Good meeting? I think so, Naomi said. 3 of them want to file complaints. 2 more are still deciding. That's progress, Selena said. Naomi sat down at her desk. On the wall behind her hung a framed newspaper clipping. Naomi Vale wins historic $20 million verdict against Blackthorn Plaza. She looked at it every day, not because she was proud, but because she needed to remember that the impossible was only impossible until someone did it. Her phone buzzed, a text from Roman. Dinner tonight? Naomi smiled and typed back. Yes. Pick me up at 7. She set her phone down and looked out the window at the Chicago skyline. Somewhere in that city, women were being hurt. Somewhere, they were staying silent because they thought nobody would believe them. Somewhere, they were crying in supply closets while the world moved on without noticing. But not everywhere. Not anymore. Because Naomi Vale had proven that invisible women could become visible. That powerless women could claim power. That silence could be broken. And once broken, it never sounded the same again. Naomi turned away from the window and went back to work. There were more women to help, more battles to fight, more stories that needed to be heard. And she was just getting started.